your line can kind of play around it. If your Tusk positions quite well, you can basically dodge a lot of spells, but that's really asking for a lot from a Tusk. I mean, we've seen a lot of players do it, but it's never easy to pull that off, especially against something like the Enigma and Elder Titan together. So I want to see how LOTAC plays around it. I feel like there are a few hard counters left in the pool, Mike. We might be seeing the Silencer come out, although I feel like that hero definitely has fallen out of favor a fair bit. But that option is certainly there if you want to make it harder for Detonator to force these fights. You're going to need something that clears out quite fast as well, because the push potential of that Enigma is quite strong. So you want something that can clear out those Eidolons quite fast, make sure to delay that push, and kind of make sure that the black hole never comes up, Mike.
Yep, absolutely. Like, again, like you mentioned, the Silencer is so out of meta right now. Highly doubtful LOTAC would even bother, but like you said, it's there if they want to take it. See what else is on the cards for them. Plenty of options. Detonator though, last band before we do get into that second pick phase, they will indeed get into the puck, which I suppose was one of those other counters. Considering the Dream Call, you can just cancel from a large range away, especially if you get that Aghanim Scepter up on the puck. LOTAC now. Final ban for them. In May, we've seen both these teams in so many open qualifiers, in so many close qualifiers, and you know what, John, you called it, there it is. But if I may continue, we've seen them so many times throughout the qualifier, and both these teams have been struggling to try to get to a minor or major. They've gotten really far this time, right? Like, they are one series away from the final of these close qualifier, which I believe Boom ID is waiting for them at the end for the winner anyway. But I'm just going to say, it's great to see both these teams making it so far.
Oh, definitely so. I mean, they've been consistently in these close qualifiers, as you mentioned. We've been casting them for a long time now. I feel like at least a year each. Detonator, since they were formed, which was around last year when the Japanese organization picked up the Filipino squad. A lot of changes here and there, but Detonator is still around. LOTAC is a bit more stable, I feel. You have, again, a few people coming in and out, but I feel like their core roster hasn't changed too much as well. And it's good to see them go this far, but unfortunately, again, only one team can really go far. You know, after this, we'll still have to see if either of these teams can beat out Boom ID, who have been pretty much I guess the minor gatekeeper for Southeast Asia. I mean, they've been the last minor, and I believe they did quite well as well. So we'll see if they can stand up to Boom ID, because I mean, if you want to go far, you'd have to be able to match up with teams like Boom ID anyway. Because as good as they are, Boom ID isn't quite the top crop of Southeast Asia yet. So you still have a lot of proof with all of these games, Mike.
Yeah, and not to mention as well, both Detonator and LOTAC lost to Boom ID in the upper bracket throughout this group stage already. So certainly, like you said, the winner of this series does have their work cut out for them, with a team like Boom ID, who has already taken a series off each. Nevertheless, however, not only did we see a Silencer come out, but the Dragon Knight did follow from the side of Detonator. Of course, John, the drafting is extremely different to what we've been seeing in the China region, and I dare say it's a lot more open, isn't it? Like, there's a lot more going on here, from what I can tell. The DK, however, what are you thinking about this hero? Is this the kind of pick we need to see from Detonator?
I feel like Detonator really just kind of trying to settle their draft. It gives a lot of good push for Detonator along with that Enigma, so you can melt those towers down. Once you hit level 6 in DK, start pressuring lanes out. It's a really good frontline tank hero. It does good enough damage as well. So I feel like it does fit into Detonator's lineup quite nicely. It's not really the bombastic hero you want to see coming out with something like the Enigma and Elder Titan. You feel like you want something that synergizes a bit stronger, but they do opt for that instead. The LOTAC does respond with the Underlord. I'm not sure if we're going to be seeing the Ohio Underlord come out here, Mike. I feel like it's very likely we're going to see that run as a core in the offlane, but this is definitely a hero that it's still fairly popular. I believe it's been picked up a fair bit right now. Let me just check real quick.
10 seconds.
Oh, I think I was wrong. Not quite. It's definitely tapered off. I mean, it's not here you see too much of, and it's really just kind of fallen flat. You have to rely on an ultimate, which is situational at best. Its control is a great route, but it's not the most instantaneous lock. You really need to synergize that skill with a few others with good AoE control. I feel like the the Firestorm is going to be really helpful here in clearing out those Eidolons, and it should be fairly good. And I mean, with a Tusk, you can really hold people in the pit, so I can see the value in that Underlord. I'm just not super confident in this pick, as again, it's just been underwhelming for a while now, Mike.
It really has been. I think we talked about it a while back as well, but just doesn't seem to have that same influence. Then again, however, a lot of teams aren't going to be playing against this kind of pick very often, so perhaps they're not really sure how to go up against it in the lane, because, well, at the very least, back when it was meta, it was very, very difficult to try and counter this Underlord pick. Nevertheless, of course, Detonator, we'll see what the plan is from them. I suppose that route is going to be pretty nice against the Enigma as well. Attack doesn't look too bad, but then again, you look at Detonator, not only have you got that black hole from the Enigma, you've got that Elder Titan Stomp, and you've now got that lasso available, so there's just so much control coming out for that Troll Warlord. Like, it's not going to be the easiest time in the world for LOTAC to be able to allow the Troll Warlord to just run around and do whatever he wants.
Definitely not going to be an easy time here for LOTAC. You know, I've been thinking about it, Mike. Ohio, we've seen him play the Underlord a few times around last year, early on when Underlord was still fairly popular. We saw him hit some pretty darn good timings on the Underlord. I'm not sure if it's going to be super significant here, but if we're looking at, say, you know, a 10-minute Vanguard boots, that could be pretty strong. I guess it's going to be really hard to take out that Underlord. Kind of has the same effect as the DK. Just being annoying there, not really easy to kill off. The one thing with Underlord is I feel like he doesn't have as great of damage output compared to the Dragon Knight. He definitely doesn't push as fast. But you do have that frontliner core that just stand in front and take the punishment. I guess one good thing about the Underlord as well is that you do slow down the physical damage coming out from Detonators, so that DK, the Eidolons are going to do a bit less damage. But that Lifestealer pickup from Detonator actually really screws for that Underlord, I feel like.
Certainly so. This Lifestealer does love any hero with high HP. See how they do run the Lifestealer, John, because you and me personally, we don't see these heroes very often anymore with the regions we've been casting. But let me tell you, John, it feels so damn good to be back to Southeast Asia, where we do start to see these kind of drafts, these crazier drafts, I want to say, these more entertaining drafts. LOTAC, however, last pick for them. You could make the argument they do be slightly behind in their draft, right? Like, it doesn't really look perhaps as well-rounded as Detonator right now. I mean, you could correct me, John, I could be wrong here. But LOTAC do seem to be slightly on the back foot throughout the drafting phase for the moment.
Yeah, it does feel like LOTAC is a bit more responsive. I mean, they've responded to the Enigma with a silencer pickup. They're really just going along with what Detonator wants, picking something that works well against it. I feel like they have the potential to outplay Detonator with these hard counters. I mean, the combination of Tusk Silencer as your support duo is pretty strong. The roaming potential early on is really quite good. If you can start getting those successful ganks going, your Silencer is going to have a good amount of int by the mid-game, and that should slow down the momentum of Detonator by a fair bit if they manage to get those successful ganks going. LOTAC does close out with the Monkey King. I feel like that is a good pickup against, you know, against a DK, against a Lifestealer. It's a pretty good hero to just kite around there. I'm really not sure what to say. Both teams seem to have pretty balanced drafts. It just feels like Detonator definitely wants to be much more active than LOTAC does. LOTAC, I feel, with the cores they have, kind of wants to slow down just a bit, maybe not as active as Detonator. It's definitely on Detonator to really play around their cooldowns. They want to play around Dragon Form, they want to play around that Black Hole. When it's up, they want to play around the Lasso. So it's on Detonator to be really active in this map. It's LOTAC. I feel they will be playing a bit responsive, but the pressure's not on them to get these fights started, Mike.
Absolutely. We'll get into this game very, very soon. It should be a very fun one to watch. Again, both these teams are playing for their lives, essentially, in these qualifiers. The winner of this series will go on Boom ID in the grand final. And of course, the winner of that series will make it directly to the Starladder Minor. Big deal for any of the three teams that are left in the qualifier to make it to those minors, try to get some DPC points and some money. Probably more important for these people because, you know, money does matter with these teams. The less. John, I hope you've had a good day. I definitely have. I've been very excited about casting today.
Yeah, it's been a good day so far, Mike. It just had, you know, it's about 1 p.m. Singapore time. It's. I'd say the weather right now is fair. It's not amazingly cool. It's not melt your skin off hot, but could be better, Mike. But hey, we're inside. We're watching Dota 2. Can't get any better than that.
No. By the way, what did you have for lunch? Because you did mention lunch.
Nah, it's, you know, family cooked lunch a bit late. We had some linguine and sardines, Mike. Yeah, sardines and linguine. Well, linguine and sardine. I'm not sure which is right conjugate. It's pretty good.
It doesn't sound like Filipino to me, John.
It's just the presence of sardines kind of makes it very Filipino, Mike.
Fair enough. Thank you for that, John. Game has started. We will move into it. It's the good luck, have fun's going out. I imagine both these teams do probably scrim with each other a lot, John. Similar kind of tier bracket. Always good to see a bit of good sportsmanship coming out early on in the game. You see an early smoke out from the side of Detonator. They want to try and get themselves a very early first blood if they can pull it off, but unfortunately for their sake, nobody from the side of LOTAC is around in that bottom jungle.
And that does give them some info as to what LOTAC wants to do. It also does just feel like a bit of a wasted smoke. They managed to drop a nice ward at least, watching that jungle area and bot lane. So that off lane for Sam should be a bit easier to manage. Just a tad bit, but otherwise... yeah, it looks to be a fairly... I don't know, just a quiet rune. Coming up at 0 seconds in. Just leaving you nice and calm. No real big exchange to go for here, Mike.
And of course, I was wondering when this was going to come up. We do have the classic SEA pause. John, this makes you very, very, very happy. I know you always are very satisfied with these.
Yeah, it's always good, Mike. I think the one thing I'm disappointed with right now is that we're not seeing these Lunar New Year festivities popping out yet. We're not seeing the pig spam. We're not seeing the fireworks spam. It's really disappointing. What's this about? Pause for
Damn H. Asking a question. Perhaps trying to get some mind games going. Raven telling him he can play any role he wants.
He did switch out to the position 4 role, so I guess that's why two teammates are ribbing each other a bit.
Of course, like you said, 2 very quiet bounty runes coming out from either team. None of them really wanting to engage too early on. Get to the laning stage, where it does seem like Sam H will be on that Bat Rider up the safe lane of the Dire, but he will be up against the tri-lane of LOTAC and Raven. Already going to come say hello on that Tusk. Going to be the easiest lane in the world for that Bat Rider. When you look at them right now, they are running a dual laner down bot. We still do have RR in the mid lane, just denying creeps for the DK. We'll see if he does make a rotation down to the bot lane as well, or whether he'll go up to the top lane and try and help out the Bat Rider.
Yeah, it certainly feels like it's going to be a rough time for Sam H here up top if he's going to be left alone. He did have to go for Firefly level 1 as well to cut into those trees up top, and that really will slow down his early game form, his potential really harass scam here. He's just going to have to soak some EXP, hope to hit a good time in his level 2, and hope that LOTAC gets a bit bored of this top tri-lane and move up.
Well, I'm just having a look at RR again. Does actually move his into the jungle for the moment, and like he will stick around there. Yeah. Meanwhile, Ben-Hur not having the greatest time up against the Monkey King, which is to be expected. I mean, Monkey King, just Jingu Mastery is just a very, very great passive to have in the game, and gets to work out pretty darn well if you are that Monkey King.
Yeah, and you know, he's a melee hero with pretty significant attack range, Mike. I feel like he can kind of match up with the fire spam once it's out, but before then it's kind of hard for Ben-Hur to really match up against Chuan here. Although he's doing fairly okay with himself, at the very least keeping up with the last hits, but not quite getting the denies he needs.
No, absolutely not. And while Sam H, again, having a tough time as expected, the Silencer, although not meta, is still very, very strong in that laning phase. going to be very annoying for Sam H to try and get in that XP range, let alone trying to get last hits in the lane. He is still sitting at level 1, and the side of LOTAC, like the tri-lane, they're all about to hit that level 2 mark as well. So Sam H is starting to fall significantly behind in that XP, considering he's going solo up against that tri-lane.
Yeah, he's definitely not getting as much EXP as he wants. Batrider does want to have good timing when they're level 6, so they can at least clear out the jungle if they opt to do that. I just don't think Sam H is going to hit that good time here.
Raven got a very nice shards, but couldn't get the tree down in time. Nevertheless, again, they're doing their job, and there's a blip coming out from Sam H. Very nice from him. That's the first one of the game, by the way, John.
That's what we want to see, Mike. It's all about the pigs.
Well, I thought he was doing out the flame break, but it was just a pig, which it looked very, very similar, I'll be honest. Mid lane, still going fairly strong for either side. Looks like Ben-Hur has gone ahead just slightly. It is still very, very, very even. The one lane that isn't going well, at the very least for LOTAC right now, is the bot lane, where Raging Potato is basically free farming on this lifestealer. He has found himself 5 last hits ahead of the Troll Warlord, who is in 2nd place.
Yeah, it's a hard time for you to really just solo here as the Underlord. I mean, there's only so much pressure you can really apply. I'm sure you can do a fair bit against something like a Lifestealer if you spam out that Firestorm often, but you know, it costs a fair bit of mana. You don't really have the biggest mana in the world as the Underlord. All you can really do is clear out waves and try to farm for yourself, but pulling down enemy core is really not an option.
Big trouble, John Raven. Fly solo, still making the chase. He will not be able to get the final right clicks off to get him killed, but very close when coming out from the side of Detonator. The shards, of course, Raven was trying to get a block off for himself, but he did end up missing. Nevertheless, he does manage to run out and heal himself up. See where he does head off to. Trying to get some kills going for his team. Meanwhile, again, I looked at this mid lane and I said Ben-Hur was struggling on that DK, but he seems to be evenly matching up with the Monkey King for the moment. Chuan, he does have 14 denies, but somehow the DK manages to stay even in terms of last hits.
It's really the nature of DK loading, even against something like Monkey King. He doesn't quite have enough burst to really kill off the DK now.
From though, tag team is a thing and it's a lot of damage, but Ben-Hur still a tanky DK, but will not be enough. Surely not anyway. Ben-Hur still making a run for it. One more right click will do it and Chuan will barely find it. What the hell was that range coming up from the Monkey King, John? I mean, he hit him from a mile away.
I don't see any problems there, Mike. It's perfectly balanced here. He's been in the game for a long time now. I don't get why you'd be complaining at this point, Mike. This is to be expected. He's a melee hero, Mike. What can you do?
Oh my. Nevertheless, a first blood coming out from LOTAC. Meanwhile, the bot lane, it looks like Detonator want to repay the favor. Ohio making a run, a nice TP play, and it looks like they won't be able to cancel it in time. Nevertheless, Raging Potato does manage to pick up a very, very quick Midas on that
Sam H.
Sam H. Top lane does end up going down. The Raven will be traded in return. Still a nice pickup for LOTAC. But John, if I may, that Midas on the lifestealer going to be a big problem again for LOTAC. I mean, Raging Potato is free farming his way to the back.
Yeah, and I don't really see any good way for LOTAC to control this lifestealer thing. So
he thinks otherwise, John. He gets a dump at the bot lane, and now he wants to go after Raging. One more hit would have done the Jingu Mastery, but Chuan just lets the lifestealer go for the moment. No way to cancel off that TP, and a very, very nice rotation from Monkey King.
Definitely so, and pretty darn good rune to have for that as well. That haste for really making sure that rotation was fast. Certainly you do want to go fast if you are LOTAC, as well. I feel like right now Detonator is getting what they want from these lanes, but when you have RR who's been free farming this Enigma, you had a free lifesteal.
Ben-Hur again to find himself in trouble, though Chuan will have to turn around. Ben-Hur did commit that ultimate and just turned around and started man fighting because he couldn't actually get out of those shards. Turns out it did work out for him. In fact, they try to go even further because RR is there to back him up now. Ben-Hur will slowly start chipping away at that mid tier once. Stun will go out now. The Elder Titan there as well. They will stomp him up. Chuan, Mischief Dodge was not really successful, but won't matter. He will be able to get out of there safely. Will salve up and may go back in now. They shouldn't be expecting to stick around, although here comes Raven as well. They will go after her. A nice stun though coming out, but the shards will block him off. The stomp as well being dodged by that snowball. Now Yamate, his life was almost gone, but it looks like Ara will be dead instead. And the minus insta coming out. Yamate, he will manage to walk his way out of there safely. The Eidolon chasing him down, but he won't be fast enough.
Yeah, again, a nice counter initiation coming out from LOTAC there. Just that salve onto Chuan, making sure he was helping him to come back in. A beautiful snowball dodge on that stomp, and it's only the stun locking from the detonator wasn't there. If you can't control that, you can burst him down fast enough. He will pump out a lot of damage, Mike.
Certainly. LOTAC taking full advantage of their chance. Shards missed again by Raven, but nevertheless, Chuan is there, and Snowball will connect on Fly Solo. He's in big trouble, and the Balance Strike will get the job done. Chuan is just playing out of his mind on this Monkey King now. 4-0-2 at the 8.5 minute mark.
Yeah, he's certainly been very active. Looks like Raging Potato
That's why he will rage up, TP away. No lucky ensnares coming out for Skem either. With that, they will go after the T1, which, I mean, you can't be unhappy, right? If you're a LOTAC fan right now, 7-1, they are having a fantastic time.
Definitely a good time if you are a LOTAC fan, as you mentioned. They are getting everything what they want from these lanes. I feel like Detonator is really not too far behind. Less than 1k enough lead so far for LOTAC, and Detonator does have some tools in their hand that really hasn't been utilized. I mean, they've had a free farming Enigma and Jewel. He does have his Dominator up. They've had a Life Stealer who got 6 but that will, you know, it's going to pile up fairly soon for Raging Potato. His farm will just kind of accelerate once he can keep maximizing that cooldown in the Midas. And then, I guess if you don't keep those two heroes in check, you're going to have a bit of a rough time with LOTAC.
Chuan actually just using Mischief to turn into a tree and then jumps away. No lasso coming from the Batrider. I'm not sure if it was because of the Mischief, but nevertheless, they will pushing in that mid-tier 1 tower. LOTAC will be there, however, to defend. But the Eidolons will keep up with the job, and, well, they will get the tier 1 as well. RR claims that for himself, and it looks like they're more than happy to just get the hell out of there immediately afterwards. Though I say that, Raging Potato sticking around in the enemy jungle. But nobody will really be around to try and take him out. They may actually go have a play against Raven. Down in that bot lane on the Tusk. So we're gonna spot out Chuan on that Monkey King. Nice ward being planted, though Chuan spot him out. Raging will be there to help him out if necessary, though Chuan does not seem to be whatsoever. Even comes in as well, and they just blow up Fly Solo and Raging Potato. It's like you constantly see him TPing away, John. He just tries to help out as that lifesteal, but really can't come up against that Monkey King burst.
Yeah, it's a hard time, I guess. At the very least, you have to use your life story, but I don't think Raging Potato is really in any sort of danger as long as rage up, so should be fine in most instances. They probably overextended just a tad bit. At the very least, a pretty nice ward to have. On the dark side, pretty good information to get from there. Not the most obvious spot as well, so I don't think LOTAC will be aware of that anytime soon.
They're going again. Raging Potato falls very low. He'll be okay. Make his walk out, but really just the power of the Monkey. Meanwhile, top lane, Skem could be in trouble. Sam H does have the lasso, couldn't quite catch up, does just leave him be. And it looks like they do just opt to go for the tier 1 top tower now. LOTAC, they do scramble to try and get there to defend. They have smoked up. They're going to go for the pizza move. They won't be there quite in time. It does seem like Detonator were aware that something was going wrong. The Raven has spotted out Ben-Hur. Snowball will be there, and they will get the stun off with the Warrior's Punch as well. Ben-Hur, can he actually make his way out of this one? A nice chance from Raven, and now the body wants as well, but Ben-Hur is so darn tanky. Balance Strike is a lot of damage, and somehow he's still making his way out now. Does have the Black Hole available. They will back off, and the Global Silence comes out, and they will not get the kill onto that DK.
Yeah, again, they were trying to go for the tankiest target on Detonator's side. Not the easiest here to kill off. And I feel like you do still kind of lack damage on this Monkey King despite that very beautiful early start. You're going to need a few more items up before you can really take care of that DK just yet. It's a nice little trade for Detonator, I suppose. Again, they don't really lose out much. They managed to beat that global silence, which means that their black hole will not be interrupted if they choose to use it in the next 2 minutes.
See if they do. Of course, we haven't seen a black hole come out yet from our. He's tried to get in there to use it, but hasn't quite found the right spacing. And well, now they will go for a smoke up. Detonator, who the target, however. Of course, Scam would be lovely, considering as well he's already got a team edge up on that Troll Warlord. Scam does show himself again at that bot lane, though it does appear that he's aware something's array, but not aware enough. Detonator should have spotted him out. They do loop around. Well, Scam is surrounded right now. Will he even bot with the black hole? Maybe not. He does, just in case, because the Tusk was in the back lines. He does get 2 of them, and Raven goes for the snowball. Tries to block it. Meanwhile, the front will commit the ulti as well. But can he actually man-fight 4 of them right now? Well, he doesn't need to because he does have help around, and they're just wiping them on the side of Detonator. LOTAC trying to back out now. They do end up losing Chuan, however, and they end up losing Ohio. Raging Potato still moving forward. They will be able to find Raven, and Yamate is the last man standing. John, it's a full team wipe coming out at the 13-minute mark.
And that's just really well executed from Detonator. I thought that black hole was a bit of a whiff from RR, but just catching out Tusk just like that was definitely a good move to make. They do end up overcommitting there with the Monkey King with basically everyone on the attack side, and they lose their tier 2 as well. Really good moves from Detonator. Again, they managed to force a fight when that global silence is down, and that's really where LOTAC's weakest. They really rely on interrupting that with global silence, that black hole, to take that 2 away from Detonator to really take control of those team fights. Without it, they're just really at the mercy of Detonator right now, Mike.
Well, they've gone for a smoke attempt to get RR. They spot out the Eidolon. One has spotted the target. RR goes for the TP. Snowball was there, however, from Raven, and a nice pickup coming out from the side of LOTAC. In fact, they may even go for a bit more. They do move their way forward into the enemy jungle, but it does look like it's just for the bounty runes. So now an 11-6. Okay, net worth lead, however, is the way of Detonator. Of course, we didn't really mention, but Ben-Hur, he did manage to pick up that Blink Deck and now DK. So you've got another form of initiation coming out from that Dragon Knight. Seems to get slightly harder. Though again, as well, you look at Skip on that Troll Warlord, he now has the full Battle Fury up, so expect that farm to accelerate quite a bit on Skip.
Yeah, definitely so. I think right now what LOTAC needs to do is buy some space for Scam, maybe get 1 or 2 more items going, and that's when you're really going to prove it.
Skim's been caught, and the Earth Splitter is there, the lasso as well, just in case, and they let the agents do all the work though. Scam, he gets time to use the ult. The Life Sealer, he took way too long to get out of there, and now Scam, still being chased down, will end up losing his own life, and there's some nice ancients to be taken if they do wish. However, they will go for the tier 1 top tower instead. Detonator, they had a bad start, but I mean, they're really pulling this this mid game off now on their side. Like, LOTAC does seem to be on the back foot.
Yeah, it comes down to drafts. Well, Detonator definitely has to play a bit more active at this point in the game, and they certainly are, Mike. They're applying all the pressure they can. They've taken a good amount of towers now. The map is slowly shrinking for LOTAC, and that's not a good sign, as, you know, Scam went for a farming build in his troll. It's not going to have too much space to find that farm down.
They've gone up to Ben-Hur. Snowball shards will connect. No, in fact, they won't. Ben-Hur just felt the cold breeze behind him, but will manage to run out of there safely. Like, we'll just continue farming up on Scam. Probably the only option they have right now. The mid lane, Chuan is trying to go for it. Sam H is out of there. Wukong's command will make it out just in time, but will it be enough? Chuan is copying so much damage, and he will go down to Raging Potato. Now Raging, though, he is in trouble. No way out of this one. He's got the impasse. Can he get it off? No, he can't. Now the black hole comes out. Global silence immediately is there from Yamate, however, and it looks like both sides perhaps want to back off because Yamate, he's losing a lot of life, and now Ben Hurt's here. He doesn't have the dragon form available, but they will continue the chase, and Raven tries to get the shards off. In fact, Scam will commit the ultimate and does get a very nice kill on Supply solo. And it does look like LOTAC does barely manage to come out on top in that engagement.
Yeah, it was it's really unfortunate you lose Juan like that, but at the same time, you get some 2 pivotal kills. Getting that kill on the Lifestealer is pretty big, considering how far ahead he is in terms of network might, and that does give a lot of gold back to LOTAC's way, but they still have to get control back in this map. I feel like you're definitely going to want a few more defensive wards, in this case, especially for Scam, as you will want him farming up fairly safe. You don't want him to get ganked up like he did last time. Again, because if they keep Scam down, he's not really going to be able to have too much of an impact in this game. So you really will have to ward that bot combo piece for LOTAC's side. Detonator side, I feel like just wait for your cooldowns again and force a fight. Or, just force a fight now.
Yeah, Chuan, he's being chased down. Meanwhile, mid lane as well. Looks like Raging Potato will find Yamate. And, well, Chuan, he does manage to jump in the trees and get the hell out, but the aggression coming out from Detonator is something to be watched. Of course, the Radiance, John, we didn't even talk about that, but Raging Potato, these items coming out so darn fast on this Lifestealer, and he will go for a very early Roshan as well. Meanwhile, that top lane will continue to be pushed in. It does look like they will commit that Underlord ultimate to try and get back up there. However, they must realize the Roshan is going down. They do scan it out as well. LOTAC, how do you even initiate into this? Global Silence is not going to be available for another 13 seconds. Black Hole, though, is also going to be unavailable, but they will start. Ohio was the first one in, but he's popping a lot of damage, and now the Laptop as well. They want to take him out, and they do it. Now Raven, he's been left all by himself in the Earth Split on Raging Potato again with the double kill, and they'll just go back to that Roshan.
Yeah, I feel like LOTAC's definitely in no position to fight. Just initiating like that definitely felt a bit reckless, just kind of staggered and not really the kind of movement into that kind of pit you want. I think you definitely want to be closer in that case, but looks like they were rushing to try to interrupt that Roche fight. Didn't quite work out well. So now Detonator gets 2 free kills to Roshan, the Aegis. It's going to be really hard to take the next team fight, especially since Black Hole will be up in 30 seconds as well, Mike.
Certainly so. Gem just trying to farm up as fast as he possibly can on this troll. He's gonna have the BKB up next. Still, their Raging Potato is so scary, but they will initiate on him. Managed to back off safe. And that is a very hard target to aim for. Speaking of hard targets as well, Ben Hur will be grabbing a BKB of his own on that Dragon Knight. It's getting close to that point where he's gonna have the level 3 Dragon form. Well, those early level 3s, they do tend to hurt quite a lot when you're playing a hero like DK.
Yeah, it definitely does hurt. DK as well really benefits from his increased Dragon form, of course. Often just add a little bit more utility to that spell and a little bit more damage, so you will have to watch out. Once that BKB is up, you definitely can't take Ben Hur out anymore. It's going to be a really hard time. I don't think you're farmed enough on any of your cores to really man-fight him, along with the Lifestealer so far. So again, if LOTAC's turn to really slow down, just try to find farm. And Detonator has such a huge advantage that they should really be pressing it. They shouldn't be using this time to farm up, as eventually Scam might be able to catch up, and you're not really built for farming right now on Detonator side. Lifestealer does have that Midas, but he's really not a very good flash farmer. The DK is a decent flash farmer, but you're going to have to expand the Dragon form to make that happen quite well. And although you can clear out quite fast with Deep Fire, just compared to a Battle Fury troll, it's not the best to match up in terms of raw, creep whacking. So you will have to play around the advantage to strengths you have right now.
Well, on that Enigma, he does manage to finish off the full Guardian Greaves now, so that Global Silence not going to be nearly as effective, and that is a very, very quick Guardian Greaves coming out from that Enigma. Again, very concerning for the side of LOTAC, and Raging Potato now does have a full Mantra up as well. Like Chuan did show himself up at that top lane, but he does get pinged out, and they are actually going to go for him. The scan is there. But he will jump the trees, but no, they do break the tree line down. RI, he has found him, and Chuan, he is a big pickup to be able to find from the side of Detonator. Midnight Pulse, John, coming up from RI was just really on point, and fortunately for Chuan, like, he kind of was on the edge of that Midnight Pulse, but it barely caught out the tree he was on top of.
Yeah, and taking Chuan out just means you can basically take a free tower, I feel. A lot of damage right now is really coming out from this Monkey King. Not having him up for the next defense just means I think they're going to have to forfeit this tier 2 up top. It looks like LOTAC will try to get the trade in that tier 1 down block, but that's really not too much of an issue for Detonator at this point in the game. We're 23 minutes in. That tier 1 down bot isn't that significant anymore.
Well, it feels like they just keep going. And they're not going to go for that Detonator. They have the Black Hole, they have the Dragon Ball. I mean, Infant's even better. Well, Potato currently is unkillable. He still holds the edges as well, so this is going to be a very hard defense. On the side of LOTAC to try and pull off. We'll see if they can get the job done. But again, that Open Silence is not going to be as effective as those Guardian groups. It will dispel that silence that comes out. He'll get stunned, he jumps in, the stun is there, and Ohio is fully gone. Wukong's command committed as well, but John, it's away from the rats. So they can just get it from the other side. They will root them up, but Ohio, he just fought back, he can't afford to die. Yamate is the one being chased down, and the Splitter does come out as well. And her gonna try and fight it. Nice snowball does come out, however. They will go after Raging Potato, but now are still holding on to that Black Hole. Scam getting very low. He will pop the ultimate. Black Hole actually cancelled off. Just casted it at the wrong time, and now the Sun Lotus may be able to pull this one off. Although Raging Potato is still a massive problem. Skem is being chased down, and he's gone as well. Now they want Chuan, who's just trying to make a run for it, but they found him. Ben-Hur, he gets the right tree, and it looks like Chuan is also going to go down this engagement. None of those heroes, John, have buyback available. That is at least one Rax coming up. They could probably just go for the bot Rax as well.
Yeah, I don't see Detonator really pulling out here. I'm sure they don't have a Black Hole, but they've just managed basically a full team wipe towards a couple of buybacks there as well. So probably just gonna go for this tier 2 and pull back, I guess. And the Aegis did expire there as well. No, Detonator still feeling fairly confident. Go in, why not?
It just looks like Raging Potato and Ben-Hur are currently just unkillable. That's the finish up. He's got Dragon Form up again. It felt like he was just in that Dragon Form a second ago, but apparently it's not a problem for him. He'll have it back up, and they may just go for Megas. Because it's like, how did you kill these guys? The Piglets come out as well while they're at it. Meanwhile, Raven jumps in. This is the Walrus Monk, however, Raging Potato, and they will opt to back off. Are almost getting caught in those shards, but then you have the stomp there from Fly Solo to make sure there'll be no chase coming up from the side of LOTAC. And now that's 2 Raxes down for the Radiant end. Yeah, it's going to be a rough time to recover from this. If you're LOTAC, they don't really have the greatest wave clear here. Your supports really can't clear out this wave. It's quite fast. Your cores, I guess the Monkey King Antro can kind of deal with him. It just feels like it's really going to be hard to bounce back here. I feel like you still don't have enough farm on Skem for him to be a real menace. You definitely lack a bit of farm in Chuan now. You have fallen a bit behind, and you're going to be struggling to match up in these team fights. You're really going to have to get that perfect initiation going if you're LOTAC. Well, they have smoked up and are running the right way, but Detonator are waiting for them, and now the lasso immediately coming down off the troll. He does have the ultimate back, but like he doesn't. Earthsplitter comes out and destroys him, and they call GG. 26 minutes into this game, and it is all over. Detonator do pull off a very, very convincing win. John, we talked about this drafting phase. LOTAC was being more responsive to the Detonator picks than they probably should have been. And it looks like they kind of put themselves in a bit of an uncomfortable position. They had a good start in the early game, but they left Raging Potato alone to farm, and the DK, but Ben-Hur, he didn't have a problem in the mid lane apparently. And with that, I mean, if you can't kill the cause of Detonator, I guess there was just no way to win this game for the side of LOTAC.
Yeah, definitely so, Mike. Again, it came down to that draft. LOTAC definitely was just responding to Detonator's picks, so Detonator had a much more cohesive game plan. They had picks that they knew they could play together quite well, and LOTAC was just kind of scrambling to get counter picks. It felt like in this game. Hopefully in game 2 we'll see LOTAC change up their draft a bit, play what they're confident in, and force actions onto Detonator instead. And I'm looking forward to how that game 2 will.
5 seconds remaining. The Dire get a ban. Radiant's turn to ban. I wreck any undersea cable I get my hands on. Ten seconds. 5 seconds remaining. Dire's ban now. Here's the Radiant ban. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. What'll it be? Someone's connection just drowned. The Dire get a ban. Here's the Radiant ban. Dire's turn to pick.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2 between LOTAC and Detonator. Of course, it is the Starladder ImbaTV 2 SCA closed qualifiers. John, game number 1, Detonator. I mean, they found themselves slightly behind in the early stages of the game. However, later on, around that 10-minute mark, you just saw Raging Potato and Ben-Hur get started on the DK and Nakes and really start taking over the game. Game number 2, what did LOTAC have to do differently to try and force this to a game number 3?
I feel like LOTAC has to play their own game here. They have to draft what they're strong with. They shouldn't be playing around with counter picks in their draft directly related to Detonator's draft. If they have a plan, stick to it. Draft what they want, play what they want, and just try to do better than Detonator does in the game. That's all you can really hope for in these matches, Mike. Hopefully that's what we're going to see from LOTAC. They do open up with the Troll Warlord and the Elder Titan. Not the biggest shakeup from the draft. They did open with the Troll as well in the last game. Partnered with the good old Tusk. This time around they go with that ET, which does a fair bit of work. We saw it do a lot of work for Detonator in the last game. Maybe this time around LOTAC will be able to make it work in their favor. We'll find out, Mike.
Certainly so. Of course, Raven was playing position 4 last game around. We'll see if they switch him back. So, Detonator, and they start off with the Sven. Very powerful heroes in this meta. And of course, another one, the Keeper of the Light, will come out. Already, this does appear to be getting quite scary for LOTAC. They have really started their draft in a very similar way. So I feel like Detonator they kind of know what's coming with the Troll Warlord. With the Keeper of the Light Sven, I mean, they probably already have enough to just deal with.
10 seconds.
Yeah, I feel like even with just that support pick from Detonator, it's going to be a bit of trouble for the Warlord. If Cotton gets a good timing and hits level 6, it's going to be really disruptive in those team fights. You're going to be able to shove out waves quite fast, so in case LOTAC goes for something with a lot of push capability, a lot of summons coming out, Keeper of the Light can clear those out as well, and you know, just having that chakra magic available with Sven as well, that's a good amount of stuns falling out in the laning phase. So you will have to watch out if you're LOTAC. I do like this opening from Detonator. It's pretty flexible, it's really strong as a support duo, and it does a lot of work. So we'll find out just exactly how Detonator complements this opening, but even with just these 2 years, Mike, I feel like they're off to a good start.
10 seconds.
LOTAC, we will go through the ban stage, of course.
5 seconds
See, the
remaining.
Tusk and the Silencer were there, but again, the Silencer at the very least, it was a counter pick towards the Enigma that Detonator did manage to pick up for themselves. Problem was, you have a very, very quick Guardian Greaves coming out on the Enigma that tends to just become quite useless as a hero, and well, at the very least this time Enigma has been banned out from the side of LOTAC. So again, they do have other problems in these early counters with these picks that have been made by Detonator. Well, so much pressure on both these teams as well, because again, we see these guys in so many open and closed qualifiers, always getting so darn close to making it to a minor or major. Detonator now one game away as well from being in that grand final up against Boom ID for that slot for SEA in this minor. And that's just such a big deal, especially for a team like Detonator or Boom ID. It's a lot of money, it's a lot of fame. Of course, BPC points never hurt one of these smaller teams, but nevertheless, second phase, both sides. LOTAC will get started first up. Where did they head with it?
You do have quite a fair few options left in the pool. You could go back to that Tusk if you so wish. You have quite a few position 5s that are still viable. I feel like if you want to go for something that can't push quite well, that isn't really threatened by, you know, being cleared up by a Kotl, or you could go for the Shadow Shaman. Good amount of control coming out. The wards are always good at pushing. It's just a very strong hero to have. I think it complements the Elder Titan quite well. If you want to go for something with a bit more wombo, I mean, you know, combo for team fights, could go with something like a Tiny coming out. I think that's not field, although that is banned out by LOTAC, my bad. They will, and you know, that could have been a good option, but again, that Tusk is still in the pool. The Shadow Shaman, they do go for that. It is good, again, in combination that Elder Titan, it's just really good, easy setup for the sleep. Amount of damage coming out, great push. It's just very stable to kind of pick up, and it works well with the Elder Titan mech, so it's not really too surprising from LOTAC to pick that up here.
Yep, certainly so. Good call. That does come out. It doesn't really reveal much either from the side of LOTAC. Still makes it so Detonator are kind of sitting there scratching their heads a little bit, wondering what the last two calls are gonna be. Detonator, however, they will go back to that Batrider. We did see Sam H. He had a bit of a struggle in that laning phase because he was left up against a tri-lane, but didn't seem to bother him too much. Got a great timing on that blink dagger. Still managed to make a lot of work happen with the level. So, again, Detonator not really too much themselves either. So, see where they go with this on the side of LOTAC. Was the Monkey King is there if they want to go for that again, but it did seem like it was just a counter towards the DK that Detonator had picked up themselves. Probably won't see it, but again, Juan did have a pretty nice game on that Monkey King if they did want to go down that route.
Yeah, it's fair enough. I feel like he did do a lot of work. He was caught out a fair few times as well, but that was because of some pretty excellent Midnight Pulses coming out that last game. I feel like another option you could probably look at is maybe something like a Venge. A core Venge might work out okay, especially to counteract that Lasso. I think it might work out. I'm not sure if you can really prioritize that now, as you do have the Troll in. Whether or not you pick up that Venge and safely troll down mid, that would shake it up a bit, and that does give you a counter to the Lasso. I'm just not sure if that's worth the investment really in a pick.
Probably not. But then again, in LOTAC, they may go for it. I mean, this is potentially their last game in the closed qualifiers, and if they've got any secret strategies, they've got to bring them out right here, right now. But we've got about 10 seconds of reserve time left as well.
Dire's turn.
We'll go for the Abaddon, because that's one way to get the job done. Body Shield, very useful up against that Lasso, but I don't know, we don't see this very often, you and me, John. How do you feel about the Abaddon pick?
I'm not too sure here, Mike. I feel like it's on paper it's quite good. As you mentioned, the shield is really good for counteracting that Lasso coming out. It's pretty potent in lane. It can definitely bully off melee cores quite fine. It can be a menace off lane. It's been a while since you and I have seen it. Really, I feel like we have seen Ohio play this here before in that offlane, so at least once. It's definitely not the hero you think of when you think of Ohio. but I feel like we have seen him play it before in the year that we've covered these sort of games. So I wouldn't be too surprised if he jumps on that hero in the offlane, and Ohio just has a way of really making anything work in the offlane, at least in his own item timings. Although in the last game it just felt a bit underwhelming with the Underlord, but that is down to just hero being so outfit. I am a bit worried for LOTAC here, as you know, I feel like Abaddon's not been in the best spot for a while. He has received a few changes here and there, a few number tweaks here and there, but I just feel like the hero is... He's not been amazing for a while, Mike, and I'm fairly sure there's a good reason why. It's just that I feel like he doesn't take towers fast enough, he doesn't have a good wave clear, he doesn't have the most amazing way of just farming back. He isn't the most amazing hero in team fights. It just feels like the hero's in a weird spot where his kit doesn't provide you with too much for your team. It's definitely not the focus of this meta at all. We'll see if LOTAC can work it out. I'm just mildly worried with these picks, Mike. It's just been odd. In the first game, you had the Underlord coming out, Silencer as well, to counteract that Enigma, and now this time around, we have the Abaddon coming out from LOTAC, and I'm just a bit worried.
Finally came up for air.
Well, the Death Prophet was there for Detonator. It's one of those picks, John. It's played correctly, so darn powerful. So much push comes out from this hero, and I mean, you always mention you've got to play around that exorcism timing, but not exactly too hard to do for a side like Detonator that have been playing together for a while. Wait up a couple more bands, see what comes up next. For LOTAC, they do give the respect to the last and get rid of him immediately. Detonator, what will their last band be, I wonder?
Ten seconds.
I mean, at the very least, LOTAC is missing core to put in the lane up against that Death Prophet.
Yeah, it does look like... I'm not sure exactly what you ban out here. I feel like... Yeah, I guess the puck's a fair enough ban. Just jumping in and out, clearing your backline. Reaching that Keeper light before it can have an impact would have been pretty big for LOTAC. So just that puck ban, there is some value in that for Detonator. Looks like they do lack a safe laner of their own, unless they run Horse, which we've seen a couple of teams do, but I'm really not sure how in vogue that is outside of China. The only team we really saw that do was, I believe, PSG, LGD, so maybe it's definitely not the norm for hero. It's definitely much more common as a pause 4 sort of transitioning support. So let's see what Detonator does pick up to cover their bases here.
It will be the Terrorblade, apparently, so this hero just never seems to be out of meta as of late. Like, it always pops up here and there, and it always really leaves a splash. Looking very scary for the side of LOTAC, I'm not gonna lie, John. I think you'd agree with me on this one. So perhaps their last pick will change our minds.
I do like that pick for Detonator. I mean, it works quite well against the Abaddon. You know, just holding, if you drop low while Abaddon is trying to regen through his ultimate, just swap health after and he's dead. LOTAC does close out with Lina. It's fairly standard pick, nothing too flashy for that mid lane which you want to play. Up against the DP. This is a matchup we haven't seen in a while, Mike. It's been a while since we've seen DP against Lina. I feel like that is definitely something the DP does win out. As long as she has a good amount of siphon stuff, she can definitely hold that lane.
Yeah. Chuan is a fantastic Lina player. Let's not forget it, but in terms of draft, it's not looking great for LOTAC. I mean, they can get a great start again, but they're going to have to keep that start up. If they can replicate their early game they had in game number 1, there's just so many plays you have to keep down on the side of Detonator before they get out of control. See how well they can get the job done. Of course, Raging Potato, we are just waiting for him to pick up that Terrorblade. In last game, we saw what happened, John. They just left him alone. That offlane with his supports. And, I mean, there wasn't much Ohio could do as an Underlord to shut him down on that lifestealer. Perhaps with the Terrorblade, maybe a bit easier to try and shut down this kind of carry, but gonna have to ensure that happens. In Skem, he didn't have the worst time either on that Battle Fury, on that Wall in game number 1, but it just really didn't seem to matter at all.
Yeah, definitely didn't. I mean, he didn't have enough space to farm in that jungle. The activity from Detonator, their movement, their aggression just made it so that that early pickup just didn't pay off for LOTAC, and they definitely needed to pay off now, Mike. I like, again, in terms of the draft, LOTAC is fairly balanced enough. That Lena last pick definitely hurts the Terrorblade part a fair bit, because again, Terrorblade he has a high amount of EHP out from his armor. Straight up magic will pretty much melt TV, so I do like that pick from LOTAC. But again, when it comes down to the overall draft, it just feels like it feels a bit too slow coming up for LOTAC. We'll see how it rolls out here, of course, but again, I just can't be that confident in this Abaddon pick. It's just been so long since we've seen this hero pop out. There's a reason why this hero has definitely tapered off hard. We'll see if LOTAC can make it work, and here's the pause, right?
Absolutely. And SCA pause, one of our favorites. And as usual, John, absolutely no reasoning for the pause. But just a wait is all we'll get. That's perfectly fine.
Nah, it's just waiting. Waiting's a virtue, Mike. Patience is a virtue in Southeast Asia. Continue reminds us to keep it in check.
It looks like Sam H was having some sort of connection issue. We'll just wait on him. You'd hope this game was slightly longer than the last one, because I don't remember the exact timing, but it wasn't too far off 20 minutes that Detonator finished game number 1.
I believe it was around 26 minutes, might be. Yeah, definitely not a long game, not the fastest one we've seen, but I think that was the fastest one we've seen in 7.21, ourselves at the very least. So it was fairly quick as all things go, and you know, hopefully this time LOTAC can make their draft work out a bit better. I mean, I just can't feel too confident again. Abaddon, it's a great hero, it's just, it hasn't popped out for a reason.
Well, he has already queued up that Midas as well. Looks like trying to get that fast farm up. This Abaddon, we'll keep an eye on him, we'll see how fast he can get that up. Of course, Detonator again, going for a very, very early smoke, drawing that same line out like they did in game 1. However, this time they will find one. One will put the tree line for the moment.
Burns, doesn't it?
Barely missing out, although they will find some more heroes to the right. It's come out, Yamate. Throughout the spirit. Looks like there won't be any kind of engagement coming from the side of LOTAC. Though I say that they will stick around.
That's what I'm talking about.
Be there. And around the tower, RR is looping around. Does have the stun up and ready to go. Sam H, of course, gets started with digging napalm. Should just be another in terms of bounty runes. RR just trying to threaten Raven just a little bit.
We embark for battle.
He'll be able to get himself 2 very easy bounty runes up at that top lane.
Yeah, again, not too much going on yet. I am keen to see how Detonator does run the lanes. Are you going to go for this tri-lane down bot, or give a bit more support up top? It does look like they will just do a tri-lane down bot. We do see a Raging Potato making his way down there. Flight Solar way far forward, and a restart is needed. Apparently so. A bit more of a wait, Nick. Mouse problems coming up.
Absolutely. Does look like they gave the early brown boots over to Raven on that Shadow Shaman as well. In fact, never mind, no restart necessary.
Oh, okay, that's quick, but interesting. Yeah, the brown boots are out for Raven. Not the most common start for Shadow Shamans, I have to say. In fact, I think it's been a while since you really... not many sports go for the early browns. It does take a bit away from your lane sustain.
Nevertheless, Ohio will make the rotation back down to the same lane. Just dual lane with the for the moment. Yamate and Skev will be up at that off lane. Sam H is just there by himself. Does look like the dual lane, bot lane. As it stands right now, Fly Solo will be waiting for the courier in the mid lane. And it is making its way up. Let's have the talisman given away off one, but can he get the courier? It looks like he can. A very nice slay comes from Fly Solo, though he may give his life away. No, he won't. Make his way out there safely. Again, that's a really nice start for the side of the Dire.
Definitely is. Too bad he couldn't slow down at null, but you know, all things considered, it's not the biggest pickup for Chuan. He's going to be missing out on a lot more sustain for himself in this lane, and you definitely need a lot of sustain going up against something like DP, who can naturally be in the lane no matter how much harass you pump out. So it's going to be hard for Chuan to match up here if Ben plays his cards right for the next few minutes.
Solo does make his way up top. They will run the dual lane on the side of the Detonator. Looks like LOTAC has switched them, but are actually running an aggressive tri lane now. Have left Ohio once again by himself at that bot lane up against the dual lane of Raging Potato. And of course Ara on that Sven. Looks like he may hold right here right now, and in fact they are going to go for a metamorph. Ohio uses the shield, but I don't see him getting out of this one. Very nice first blood coming out to the way of Detonator at 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's a nice clean pickup for Detonator, and again, there's just really not too much Ohio can do there.
It isn't about it. Like, once you've thrown that shield, all over, you just try and run for it. At the very least, right? Top lane will go for the shackles. Doing it by himself. Have any help behind him to dish out some damage, but they are getting some decent farm onto their troll. Skin is a very happy man. Sam H can't really do much on that bat rider really for this down. We saw the same thing last game. And ultimately, they may just prioritize making sure Raider just continues farming up on that Ferret Blade rather than even bothering trying to shut down Skin.
Yeah, I think that's a fair enough point. I feel like in this sort of game, if you give the troll early farm and if Sam goes to the same build, you might not have enough time to really, you know, maximize that early investment.
Decent time in the mid lane. Does have his bottle out now. Courier did actually end up with something rather quick, so it's like it wasn't really too impactful that Courier had died. Lane, Ben hurt, but in danger. You have Raven there on that should have come and ready to get shackles. Well, we'll be able to find himself a nice illusion rune to fill up that bottle. Ben very safely on the right side of that mid, but I don't really see an option for Raven to really get there and throw those shackles out, so he does make his way back up to the top lane. Looks like he would test by solo a bit on the Keeper of the Light.
And a disruptive at pull. He does grab last hits for himself, so great time here. He would have been happy with kill on members, but he's not having a good time down mid. Chuan has definitely been doing it right, spacing himself up just nicely, and there's no real way for Ben-Hur to come in and harass the Spirit Siphon, not with ranged advantage that Chuan does maintain.
The thing with Chuan on this laner, like, you see him playing this hero a lot. He does not like the back of his hand. Well, speaking of Raven, pop up lane, showing himself, and he has Ben-Hur with the shackles. Media rotation does come out from up. It looks like so far Ben-Hur okay. They will actually go after Raven now. Ben-Hur throws out the Crypt Swarm. It probably won't be enough. Ara cannot continue the chase any further, but he does manage to save his death.
Yeah, that was the first goon of the game, Chuan, just blowing it up like that. Really unfortunate it wasn't successful, but that was a very deep dive from LOTAC. Very keen try. Good rotation from Detonator to counteract that. Our must be feeling pretty glad that he saved the DP, who has been having a rough time in this mid lane. So, you know, just buying some time for Ben-Hur to get that level 6. It is up, but opts to go instead for another level from the Siphon. So we're not going to see any sort of fast push or team fight coming out from this DP. Maybe probably going to be up by level 7, if not level 8. That level 1 exorcism, unless Detonator's really not keen and forced any issue and just decide to farm up a bit. See the DP also just opting to Mac Crypt Spawn and Titan in that case.
Well, that's exactly what they did last game around as well on Detonator. Like, they didn't seem too concerned with early engagements. They just waited for the right time and made their attack once it was right. See RR bot lane. He does return and Raven could find himself in trouble. Raging Potato does have the morphs up ready to go, but RR rather does get a nice deep ward down. Does have eyes on Raven, and now they will make the dive. Stun will come out. Better morphs comes out as well. Raven actually getting blocked off by Ohio. Raven not shackles from him, but it's probably not going to save his life, and Raging Potato gets off up another kill. However, RR will end up losing his life to Ohio, and now Ohio feels safe to move forward and try to go for this pickup on the Terror lane. Eventually let it go, but dishes out some nice damage. Essentially, it just ends up being a 1-for-1 support trade.
Yeah, again, not the biggest trade in the world. That is support for support. I feel like it is a slightly bigger win for LOTAC, I suppose. At very least, all that the death of the Sven does go all into Ohio's EXP pool, so it's a slightly bigger win for him. At the same time, it's definitely not the targets he wanted to kill in that lane, Mike.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Top lane, fly solo, chase down, but won't be able to lock him down enough. Scam will just try and clean up some creeps for himself. Well, Raging Potato has started to take over in terms of net worth. Like, he's already 700 gold ahead of the secondary, which is Scam on that Troll Wolf. We saw the same thing in game number 1. Does kind of indicate a bit of a scare for the side of LOTAC, I feel. Again, they have a very similar draft to last game as well. Though mid lane, they have found Raven and RR, but the body blocks are very nice. The Spirit Weapon is there as well. He has no choice but to turn back around, and Ben-Hur will just take him out mid lane. And RR on this Sven has been setting up very nice kills for his team. Top lane as well. Looks like SamH going to take the chase onto Scam. Does not have a lasso available. The Aquatic Shield will be there from Ohio to save the day. Now SamH can find himself in danger. He couldn't get up the cliff. It was just a millisecond off. Firefly does wear out, but nevertheless, a nice rotation of the higher lane as well. Ben-Hur trying to go after Raven. It looks like we'll be able to find him, but can they find Chuan as well? Alright, he does have the stun available now. They have found Chuan, though more rotations are, but they're all fighting after that. Ben-Hur another. In fact, Sken comes in. The blinding light was there, and he turns around with that Spirit Siphon. Yamate gonna be in danger. They do have the stick charges on R for that mana, but the Detonator are gonna be satisfied with that, with the kills. They do back off the attack.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you should really engage P, who has Exorcism and a bunch of Spirit Siphons up. Did try to contest it, it just wasn't. The timing was definitely way off. The Exorcism went on its way back. Ben-Hur just healed back full, basically, and you're stuck in an awkward position now where Scam is having to commit in that mid lane, but there's really nothing to show for it.
Looks like the whole side of LOTAC have switched up lanes. Scam in the mid, Ohio, he goes the off lane up against SamH, but SamH is okay for the moment. However, Yamate will find the stop. Ohio fighting his time. Now, can they body block him up enough? Lane break as well. SamH may go for the neutral deny, but he won't be there in time, and it's a very nice pickup coming out from Ohio and Yamate.
Yeah, definitely the kill, kill core is always good. They do slow down SamH's timing a bit more. He is still level 5, not quite in that level 6 mark, and definitely nowhere near close to the items he wants yet. Slowly building up, but it's been a rough time for SamH in this top lane, Mike.
Bot lane now. Potatoes up and just pushing a tier 2 bot tower. Higher, the only man there to defend. He is kind of surrounded as well, and it looks like the pings are coming up from LOTAC to indicate there are other heroes, although Ohio continues moving forward. does have the ultimate available just in case he gets into danger. Just try and force them to back off a bit, and they will do so. That's one of the strengths about the Abaddon, John. Like, once you've hit that level 7 mark, or he's level 9 now, it's very hard to contest in the battle.
Yeah, he is definitely a bit too tanky early on in him. He has a lot of durability and sustain. And with a rework to Curse Faverness, having a silence of its own, can be a bit annoying trading to them, I feel. But again, the question is whether or not Ohio will have the same impact as the game just now. Right now, it feels like LOTAC is buying as much space as they can for his scam to farm up his battle once again. Once that DF is up, can control the map to maximize that. Detonator is already being quite aggressive and active around jungle on the bottom Radiant side. I'm not sure if they can find enough space for Scamp to farm up again this game.
They're going to go after a higher lane. He does have forward time and does pop at him, giving the big light. Send him back, and now he turns around. A very nice stop, but the Will-O-Wisp will be there to make sure they can't come in and clean up. But they still haven't found Ohio. They're doing a lot of damage with that Spirit side, and then Circle being dropped on Raging Potato. He does manage to get his way out of there, but they are on the runaway. He gets a Potato, nice Thunder comes down onto the troll, and they get scammed as well. Ohio falling very good with the Laguna. Will take down Raging Potato. They find Ohio. Absolutely not. In fact, never mind, they can. Ben Hur does find him, just barely, but it's a 2-for-2 trade. And in all honesty, I can't really say who came out on top because both carries didn't really just go down. Raging Potato was a very high-value target.
Yeah, losing Potato isn't the best thing for Detonator. At the same time, they took out 2 cores in that engagement, whereas take the core and the support. So I guess if you're Detonator, you're kind of happy. But I feel like Raging Potato was definitely worth much more in that fight. So it's still a slight win for LOTAC in the end, as their cores are too far behind to really care about too much.
They might want more, but getting caught out. Chuan is there. Very nice play from Raging to set that up. Now Ben Hur trying to make a run for it, but the Hexel's there as well. Sticking around a bit too long, we'll end up with 2 more heroes on their side.
Yeah, that's a bit confident from that. Still hammer areas too. They knew LOTAC still had a good amount of heroes in that area. They just fought in that area, and they got the Stater. A bit of an odd choice from Detonator. You definitely can't give those kinds of kills to a team like LOTAC and still play the catch up. I mean, Skeps is going to have that battlefield maybe the next minute and a half, 2 minutes. Once that's up, Detonator is going to have to really push the map a bit more. The control is not as good as it was in game 1 at this point in time, and definitely want to stop Scam from farming. He's been farming okay. He's playing catch quite nicely. The one overtakes Raging Potato's TB is the most I'd be worried about Detonator playing here.
Yeah, but it's certainly a while away. I mean, 1.3k is the difference right now. Net worth between Raging Potato and Scam. And of course that Battlefield will speed things up quite a lot, but he still has to go for that, and we'll actually go for a smoke now on the side of LOTAC. Again, we'll be joining them as well. Looks like SamH target. They actually find him. SamH just stick around that tree line, and Skem has broken the smoke to farm up. So LOTAC is just waiting behind him, and they're just hoping that they can bait the side of Detonator out, but it looks like Raging Potato has spotted him with the illusions, and now they make an immediate run for him. Chuan desperately trying to find a Yule's target, but nobody really around. Like, Potato, think about turning this one around himself. He's got metamorphosis, but there's a lot of heroes there. Thunder all up and ready to go. Now Ben Hur joins in. Swamp was there from Elder Titan, and it looks like that should be it for the moment, though. RR also chasing, finds a stun onto the Elder Titan. Again, they're diving really far for this, and now RR gonna find himself in trouble. Though he does have the shield available. I'm kind of shocked to see that they didn't take that team fight, but they do end up backing off themselves.
Yeah, both sides are definitely playing a bit safer around this time. Mike not really going for the aggressive moves and just kind of shakily trading blows, not really committing to any sort of big initiation. I'm not sure who really wins out there, as that was a lot of heroes just running around up top. I guess in the end, kind of happy Raging Potatoes just farming in the jungle and leave at some point, but That was a fair bit of time wasted from both sides. It does look like LOTAC will keep the pressure up. They have wards available, so that tier 2 could be under pressure fairly soon, Mike.
Yeah, certainly so. Damage will be there, but again, the serpent wards have been dropped. Ara is his way in. Very dangerous. Activities out. They do hex him up immediately. Now the stop as well as the shackles. Just everything being thrown out at this spin, and they do find the pick off. They just want a very easy team to, and it looks like they will be able to hit it. Nice little play coming out from LOTAC, and Detonator really just didn't seem to know how to respond to that.
It definitely seemed like Detonator wasn't keen on really defending that tier 2. They only threw up what? Again, the Sven and the Batrider up. He just got his blank. Really not much of defense at all. I think Detonator was going to accept that. With wards up, they were just going to lose that tower, which is fair enough. It looks like they might give away their, have given away their mid-tier as well, so that bit of mid-control is gone, but it's pretty late to be gone anyway, 16 minutes in. I don't think you're too up to turn out the tower was fall at some point.
Bot lane as well, being pushed in again by Raging Potato, the Ohio, on that Abaddon. Be able to get in there and make sure he was protected a bit longer. Being on the attack, just taking over the junk of Detonator. So map control does appear to be going the way of attack for the moment. But while I was saying that, Scary does also manage to pick up that battlefield now. So, I mean, this is what you really wanted if you were on the side of LOTAC, right? But you want to have map control as Scam got that battle period so he can actually get some faster.
Yeah, they've done a good job to secure that. Although, what? Yeah, right.
Trouble, they don't need to kick out Asa for range. It's very easy to cop a bit her, and it will be. Meanwhile, however, RR got caught out. Laguna was committed, but does manage to just pick charges and walk away from that quite safely.
Yeah, not the biggest loss in the world, not getting that kill in RR. I suppose the support for a support would have been nice, but again, not too upset if you little tag right now. You just have definitely fought a lot of space. Troll to farm up, and farm he is. He's working towards what looks to be an F and Y coming out soon. Maybe BKB Yasha, I'm not quite sure with that Open Club, but anyways would do a lot of work for Scam here. And we'll see if he does at a decent time. He's been doing fine. He's had free farm for a while.
Detonator look to make a push now. Exorcism is available. What's the Metamorphosis? They are trying to find a nice little pick-off before they can go for the tier 2. They may end up back, but that's a hard time back then when they get fine. So straight onto Chuan on that Lena. Get the quite press it down. Get the Elder and then William Winston keeps Chuan in there. Make sure they can press him out. Now Scam in a lot of danger. Up pop the battle transfer, he feels up and he's a lot of danger. He just goes unsure. He can't really heal himself up fast enough. They did die a courier at the very least, and I believe that was the Serpent wards that got it. But the three here lost the start of loss. It may just be a Roshan as well being lost. Then hit the pit immediately.
Yeah, there's no way you can really fix this out of LOTAC at this point. Try to still have the drop. I just think it's going to be even as you know, it's going to fall and make the time to complete some So completely free Roshan going to give Detonator, and I feel like that will help them maintain the pressure here. One unfortunate thing from that team fight is of course that you couldn't use that DPO that can really get a push just for a bit too far out.
We're not connecting anyone though. Laguna will take down Sam. That Roshan is so low right now, but they quite take it. Raging attack out of the boxes and her no exorcism either. Can he get stuff on a higher, but let's put the bottom card about it. For the moment, they continue the Roshan. It's so down low. Ohio, though, managing to put in by himself and try and snap it out. Borrow time was committed, however, and won't have that battle of Raven. He ends up losing his own line in backline. Now Ohio going to be the target. He's so tanking that ultimate, though apparently he is. Again, with the Roshan so low. But he finishes, yes, he has to stop. The Aegis is still up dead, and it looks like there are Max snatches off the side of LOTAC who got the Roshan kill. But you think Sven never mess Chuan almost ends up falling, and they walk the chase onto Sam. But very, very nice stun coming out from Chuan to make sure they can't really go into the Troll Warlord. So they got the Roshan kill confirmed, and they do force the Gage to go out of the system, and they take that immediately. I guess LOTAC, they're going to be very happy with that. As well as that, they did force out the fire from Smash.
Yeah, definitely a good trade for LOTAC. I'm a bit surprised that Detonator is really a bit sloppy there. Just not really getting what they wanted from that push pit. I'm quite surprised that LOTAC managed to find everything they wanted. Like, getting that push on goal, making that Aegis basically works. It's a very good win for LOTAC. Bought him a lot of time to let Scam catch up. And catch up he is, as he is slowly approaching. Look, again, I think the BKB is going to take precedence here. So, he pressed Yasha. Afterwards, that's fair enough choice. As long as Scam is controlled, he has 3 remaining fights, I think.
Sure does seem certainly gonna make a difference in these 2 fights. Of course, top net worth is still on the side of Detonator. Detonator has not backed off the farm and is going to be going for a very, very quick Scardy on that ticker plate. He does have 4K gold, like he's going to have it done soon. LOTAC is still Raging Potato doesn't make its way into the enemy jungle. LOTAC not just what in any communication right now. X and a so are both up. Detonator can get in range, try and take some towers down. Though bot lane did manage to deny the tier 2 bot tower. Nice skull being denied from Detonator. And it also looks like Ohio is just about to pick up a full reinforcement.
Yeah, that's radiance is really when you start getting north as the abdo. You're just always have that on for a fairly long time. The damage output is pretty good if you think about it in terms of total damage done to the enemy team. It's going to be really hard to deal with for Detonator if you don't really have the most amazing burst to really just Ohio's Abaddon yet. So if the fact that he's got pretty decent timing in it, it's going to be really potent for LOTAC.
You just saw Detonator as well. They drew out a line going through that bot lane towards that tier 3 tower. I'm not sure if they intend to go through with that very soon. But Ohio does manage to now pick up that Radiance. Although perhaps the fight. Let's show it as well. Detonator taking the tree line. You opt to back up. And now a smoke will come from LOTAC, but they want to try and keep the Nessus here. Again, coming out as well, they just caught twice on the edge of that. How do you initiate into this? The smoke is now broken. Ohio, of course, the first man in. They can't really first line up. They've got no first back line. It's a lot that now they've got the snowboards down, and the spearhead is walking very low. Will it be enough? Raging Potato, he'll barely get the thunder off, but so on the time, and they will burst him down. However, they will lose Ben Hur in the process. They will doing so much work for the side of Detonator. Keep this team fight. Oh, double stuck far arm. Raging Potato thinking about going back in. Raven will target the shackles, will be there, but they won't be enough. They will fly solo as a trade inside LOTAC and Ohio. He's target. Doesn't have info for a time, but the storm's coming up from the tide, be dragging up this team fight. They're going to find at the field Sam H. They should be able to get and they do. Now Skip looking for a bit more. Can't quite find it, but that was definitely a nice win.
Very nice, very clean win for LOTAC. And again, a bit sloppy from Detonator. I feel like they're definitely not initiating the market so far. No.
Just not seeing anything right now. Abaddon, Raging Potato has a lot here from Battle Logan. Doesn't come in higher. Apparently stuck around a bit too long. Went losing his line. He did manage to snag that boundary, however, suppose you could argue. It is nice gold towards his team.
It's something going to team. I don't think you really want to lose Ohio at this point in the game. Not with from his at this point. It would have been very big if they managed to get the kill in Raging Potato, though, I admit. If they managed to get our Raging there, you know, it would have been worthwhile whether or not Ohio lived, but does get away with his life. I feel like Detonator has to run out of timing, their talents coming out. Raging Potato needs that reflection cooldown to come out so he can really be a nuisance to the opposing team like that. And I feel like you definitely need a bit more on Sam H's Batrider. 4 staff should be out at this point, and once that's out, it'll make your initiation much easier to pull off. Otherwise, it's really hard. I don't think Detonator can really start these fights on their terms fully yet without that instant pullback from Batrider. You also kind of want a blink on your Sven at some point after the fight, perhaps. Just having that initiation, having those initiation options are going to be really helpful, because right now, again, Detonator just seems to rely on a blink blaster coming out from Sam H.
Well, the team sticking back for the moment again, going back to that farm. Skem doing a fantastic job on that troll now. He's getting very close to Raging Potato on that TB. To be fair, he's still about almost 3k behind, but didn't really seem to matter too much in that last engagement. Of course, Raging Potato going to be going for a BKB of his own on that Terrorblade. Does feel like he's going to need that magic community, especially that Shadow Shaman and the Lena. Well, lane. A bit of a push starting from the side of Detonator. Blind Helm will be there, and he does actually have a go RR on that spin. Does get the stun. The Serpent Wards as well being dropped, and it looks like this should be a very easy pick-off onto the support spin. Not sure how worth all of the Serpent Wards, but still, at the very least, he's gone for 35 seconds. If you're going to go safe, you're on the Radiant side.
Definitely so. It's at the very least, he's slowed down that Sven again is building up. Once that pipe is up, I feel like you definitely put a bit more in your Sven. Probably go again. That blink dagger is going to be really useful for Detonator. It's going to help your initiation quite a fair bit. Even you know, even some more aura items to complement the pipe and the Vlads would be pretty strong. But again, it's all down to what Detonator wants, and they're just waiting on some core power spikes right now. Raging Potato with that level 20, and a few items coming out on Force MH. So I feel like before then, you're not going to see Detonator really force the issue too much here.
LOTAC, they have smoke. RR again, closest target to them right now. Yeah, put it. Higher. A few stacks onto the neutrals in the jungle. I'm still waiting for somebody to run by their path. So it does look like Detonator will smoke up on their own. Well, they run straight into Ohio. That's the last target they want to go for right now. Meanwhile, in the backlines, it looks like Raging Potato was caught out a bit, but they are going to continue moving forward straight onto Rave. But where the hell is the damage? They've all been put to sleep. Raging Potato finally brings out the BKB. He's going to start racking up Skem, who has been ripping apart his backline. RR is pretty gone. Now Skem wants to get the hell out of there. And it looks like LOTAC not interested when that X came out, but they did force the buyback out of the Shadow Shaman. Now Twan finds the use, finds the stun. Can't find any more, although Rave jumps in with that buyback and does help set up the kill onto Raging Potato. Now they will go after Ben-Hur on that Deathfall, but no exorcism left. She will end up going down, and LOTAC again finds a very, very clean engagement. So,
yeah. A very worth buyback from Raven there, having him in that fight really secure that kill onto Skem's Terrorblade, Raging Potato's Terrorblade, and really cost Detonator a lot. At this point, it's starting to feel a bit iffy for Detonator. They're not taking these fights the way they should be. Their initiation, I have to say, is a bit sloppy, and Sam H just hasn't been as disruptive as you'd want in your battle. You really want them immediately to be taken out of the fights, but their initiation has not been point. So, you know, it's really hard for Detonator at this point to take the fight apart, because again, the team fight from Rook is just that good. You have the Elder Tyrant, you have the Shadow Shaman, you have a Abaddon that you can't ignore anymore. It's really hard to deal with, and you really need to push their numbers advantage with one clean pick-off first.
Well, the Roshan being taken by LOTAC, of course, Aegis will go to Skem. Alright, but that Godfrey Lasso as well, what a burden on that Aegis. Raging Potato comes in, no metamorphosis is available on him. He 4-star back, but this doesn't look great for the side of Detonator. They are still trying to take down the Aegis of Skem, and they will finally get it. But that'll be all they can, surely. No, never mind, they will jump in again. Skem, though, turns around, and he's just going to rip apart Flying Soma, who ran way forward. Now Alara as well is going to get taken down by Skem, and they've got another insane ancient Detonator. I'm not sure what the game plan was there, John, but they're about to lose a T3, probably at least racks.
Yeah, no buybacks on Sam H or any of the supports. Basically stuck to defender in a row 2v5. I'm not sure how much you can really do here, or you can really hope for if you're definitely at this point.
Well, one rack's gone. Should be secondary as well coming out for the side of LOTAC. They can't go for the third because there is still a T1 and T2 tower, but just taking out these 2 racks will put them in one lead. Speaking of they're worth 18k now their way. Yeah, man. Such a different game from game number 1. Just not able to get the same initiation off, and LOTAC, they've really started to take over this game too.
They definitely have 18k repeat as mentioned of 32 minutes in. Raging Potato now falling behind Skem, who had a bit of a rough start. I think where you really start to worry is that where it really shines when he's ahead. The fact that he's even sandwiched between the ports of LOTAC is not a good sign. It's very telling. Sammy is way too far behind. You've got your but who's behind as well. Their impact has started to get really minimal, especially prevalence of BKBs coming out, Mike. It's hard for these guys to make an impact. It's all really riding on Raging Potato to get his items, to get his levels going. And I'm not sure if Detonator can hold out long enough for the deficit they have in this fight.
Well, LOTAC will start moving forward with the smoke. They want to continue this aggression. Why the hell not? I mean, they've been doing so great with it as well. Another nice scan coming out from the side of LOTAC. Well, they get that initiation with Spirit. Out the mouth. Swamp will not connect on anyone, however. But it looks like they are just going to go and go after that T1 bot tower instead. We really question the Abaddon pick coming out on the Ohio, but it's really paid off so far. Though Detonator looping around the back line. They want to go after that Shadow Shaman and Adelina first. Another smoke will come out, but it does get spotted. Now the Honko get the right place at the right time, but the wind is going to be painful. The Black would knock out Will-O-Wisp range, and now Skem to the start right what they can. They will get rid of Tron. This doesn't amazing for Detonator, though they keep us forward. Skem, he will take down Ara. They're gonna try and go for that Elder Titan, and perhaps now they can take a good engagement. Skem is left pretty by himself, but he does have a cheese and he does eat it immediately. The Max as well coming out onto number 8. Skem still surrounded, but man finding out Raging Potato and will take him out. The Yukes as well saving him for and now they will find Ben Hur, who looked like he may have been able to survive, but it's a triple coming out from Skem, and again, you've got to give it to Ohio, like, just being so darn annoyed on that Abaddon.
He definitely has been, Mike, and he's been playing this hero quite well, really doing what he needs to do, and just securing all of his fights for LOTAC at this point. I have to Skem really disappointed with what's been going on. So far, I think Raging Potato held out in his Sunder for way too long. He's been dropping way too low. Wanted to get a bit more value switching down. In the end, he just dies without using the Sunder at all in that fight, and that's a lot of waste from a hero that really depends stat, especially once he hits 25. I feel it was such a miss. If Raging Potato lived a bit longer, that might have gone favorably for Detonator if they managed to take out Skem, but that's not the case here. Raging Potato got fast, and well, they're down to their last set of racks. No tier 3s available to pull that off, and it's just a matter of time until LOTAC decides to push the issue and take mecha creeps, even in the game. Detonator is definitely pushed to the back line now, Mike. Acts against the wall. They need a little more to come out before really forcing the issue.
Yeah, I mean, Skem's getting out of control as well. Like, he's got a fly now on the troll. Oh, man, this is going to be a hard troll to kill. Going straight into that Satanic as that last item. what the heck did he even do? Octarine Core as well, coming out now into so he just becomes that much harder to kill. Mention the shield spam that comes out from him. So many ways to protect Scam on that 12 wall until he can pop that Battle Trance. Detonator just on the full defense. Sitting up that high ground, making sure they don't get anyone picked off before the engagement begins. While LOTAC, they will of course continue up the farm while they can. Try to finish that Satanic Scam before they try to engage in the next team fight. They could even just wait for the next shot, honestly, like if they wanted to play it really safely.
Yeah, again, it's not in LOTAC's end to really force the issue now. We are approaching a point where the TV does start to feel a bit behind, especially this kind of net worth. He's falling behind even Ohio right now in terms of net worth. And really not a good spot for Detonator. All their gold is really just riding on Raging Potato. I mean, there's not much gold on Becker, there's not much gold on SamH. It's really all on Raging Potato right now to do damage, be in front, to get everything done in these team fights. And I don't think his Terrorblade's nearly equipped enough to do what's expected of him.
Nevertheless, Scam continues that farm. Roshan, we're going to find out in about a minute when it's up. Although engagement has started, but it is Ohio that they're trying to go up against him. He's not afraid of anything right now. Trying to burst him down just a bit, but he literally seems like the cops damage is
He really doesn't.
Yeah. They're going to start moving forward now. You can't blame him. LOTAC want to try and finish this game off. Sports have dropped. How do you even approach this if people decide that they're going to just move forward and drop forward? Scam still 4 HP. Finding life, it delays it just a bit, but Scam is not afraid to now to stop as well. They've caught 3 of them out. The LOTAC do not engage. They'll just take this slow and steady. Almost trying to prompt Rage to waste that metamorphosis and pull the X on Ben-Hur. They don't really pull the trigger yet, but they are just 1 range racks away from losing from gaining mega creeps on the side of LOTAC. Double damages as well now, coming out on Scam to make matters even harder.
Dire's middle tower is under pressure.
SamH, the tree line on the right side. Find a lasso, but Ohio again just moves in. Scam stop, but he'll be alright. The stun will be there as well, but they can't really chase into that. Ohio again just keeping for the LOTAC. And that final rack, but he's gone as well. Scam will just take a double damage. More than happy to back off safely as well. They're going to try and find something. The Will-O-Wisp has dropped as well. They're trying to up the Shadow Shaman, though Skin. Meanwhile, the back is going after Raging Potato. He is still not down. They stopped him up thanks to Ohio. And with that, I mean, no buyback available. Raging Potato, how they defend this? They've lost another in SamH, and going to lose a third one in Ben-Hur. Call GG for play. They've had enough job. And now we have a very convincing win coming up from LOTAC in the game too.
Yeah, in LOTAC would be extremely mistake in making game 1. They had enough space for Scam to farm up. Detonator just getting on the back a bit too long. Not really getting enough done. SamH didn't get quite the amount of farm he wanted. I feel like that DP potential was a bit wasted with, push kind of slowing down in mid-game. So very well played from LOTAC, and we'll see if Detonator can pull out the back. It's back to best of 1, Mike.
Just your opponent's gameplay looks suspicious.
Dominating back.
And he was doing a pretty fantastic job on that roaming spin as well. Just didn't seem to be enough really in the end. And again, that Abaddon from the last game was doing so much work and it was just impossible to kill. LOTAC themselves are willing to go and pick that up again for Ohio, because why the hell not?
Yeah, definitely so. The opening right now from Detonator is a combination of Sven. As you mentioned in the last game, Art did a pretty darn good job in that hero. They are shaking it up by thinking about Shadow themselves, which I feel like it does. It offers a bit more as your position 5 or position 4. Depends really who they prioritize for farm. I feel like you do kind of want your Shadow Shaman to have a bit more farm. Having a blink on Shaman is a bit stronger than on the Sven. I feel just that the instant single target lockdown is much more valuable and reliable compared to landing a big Stormhammer stun on multiple heroes. It's much easier to just cap one guy for a long time, along with the potential for push being really strong now from Detonator's lineup. And the magic damage coming out from the Shaman is actually pretty darn good against something like Terrorblade as well. So I do like this pickup coming out from Detonator, and it does leave your draft really open for their core pickups next.
Well, final ban out for the side of LOTAC, and we get to find out where they're going with this, and it will be the Morphling ban out coming out. Absolutely fair enough. Never want to give that metamorphosis away. Or Morphling. LOTAC, where do they go from here? There seems to be a completely different strategy coming out from this Radiant side.
10 seconds. 5 seconds remaining. Dyer's turn.
They will go for the task, so fair enough. I mean, it's just one of those standard roaming supports that you do have that just tends to do a lot of work. Mind you, we did see Brave on the task in game number 1, and I mean, it was slightly underwhelming, so it does concern me just a little bit that they go back to it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't think the hero is bad in any terms of that. its performance was a bit underwhelming in the game, although I feel like the duo of Oracle and Tusk is actually really potent. You can just kind of channel Fortune's End onto the Tusk for snowballs, have him snowball in, and you're gonna have a root and mini stun the heroes that you do trap in. It's gonna be really potent for LOTAC, I feel. That sort of roaming duo, even middle of a team fight when Tusk just jumps in, cast you know the Oracle there to follow up and root you in place. It's gonna be really strong. Detonator does shake it up a bit. They pick up the Nature's Prophet, which begs the question out: is this going to be core Sven or core Prophet?
That is a good question. I would imagine it probably is going to be the Nature's Prophet, but then again, like you said, like we have seen those offlane Svens come out here and there. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. It's one of those things, but we're going to find out very soon because LOTAC now, they take the Bat Rider off the side of Detonator. Not that it really looked like they were going to go for that this time around anyway, but LOTAC want to give it a shot there on their own side, and of course, we have seen Ohio play this Bat Rider many times, so nothing too surprising for him. However, they're not going to have that tanky front line that they had last game, and in fact, Detonator go for it themselves this time around. Oh my!
I was gonna say, you know, if they wanted to, they could pick the Abaddon, the shields there to counteract the spells coming out from tech, especially that lasso. They do opt for it, and we did see Ohio do a good job with that hero in the last game. We'll see if Detonator can have similar performance in this game with this hero. You know, it did well in the last game, but the hero definitely has quite some funky power spikes to play with, along with really just not being in meta that strongly. I believe for this series, the hero's picked, what, 4 times in the recent few months, and out of those 4 times, it only won once. So it's definitely fallen out of favor heavily. But it had a good showing in the last game.
Yeah.
Whether or not it will have a good showing here remains to be seen, Mike.
So, the last burnouts now coming out, LOTAC. They only have about 10 seconds or so left on that reserve time. Detonator still have all their reserve time left, so they can take quite a bit of that if they do wish. The Pugna being final ban out coming out from LOTAC. Does feel like Detonator, they haven't really put this off quite yet. Like, you do sit there and you do ask yourself, like, how are these lanes gonna go? Because if you've got an Abaddon that you're assuming is gonna be in the off lane, is the Sven gonna be the carry for Detonator? Because they are still missing a mid core.
Yeah, it's really hard to say for Detonator's lineup. I mean, again, it's flexible. At the same time, I'm not sure if I like this amount of flexibility. Detonator, it seems a bit less flexible and a bit more uncertain, really. So we're gonna have the Abaddon and off lane for. I think that's gonna be where it's really gonna end up. I think that's the strongest point for the hero. Your safe lane, it's starting to feel like it's gonna be Sven core, and that's safe lane, and I'm honestly not sure how I feel about that. I mean, I'd rather have a core Sven and core NP. I think the support NP does a bit more. The global ganking potential is just too strong, too valuable to throw up for a core NP. So I think that's definitely going to be a roaming Nature's Prophet being played by RR probably. But I have no clue how to feel about the Sven safe lane. We've seen it off lane. I think the turret really worked fine. But on a safe lane, taking safe lane farm, it's just it feels like it's gonna be susceptible to being kited around quite hard in this game. Like, you have the Oracle for control of the Tusk, the Bat Rider. Sven is not gonna be able to just jump in and do what he wants freely until he gets a fast BKB.
That is true. Being said, Raging Potato have been farming pretty unwell these past couple games, so perhaps we can expect that of him now, but the LOTAC still have the heroes that they need to really just dance around the set. Final ban out as well, taking a hell of a lot of time for Detonator. They will indeed get rid of the saw. I suppose it's fair enough because there was no counters towards that Tempest had it been picked up by LOTAC. How do you finish this off? If you wanted, they could just go back to that DK, but they do so. So they'll just go straight for the Dragon Knight again, I suppose. It's a fair pick. But it did a lot of work for them last time, and it's one of those heroes, right? If your team's got the momentum for the game, you just end up just destroying so many towers. Just consistent. Very hard to come back from that.
Definitely so, and it's always a safe pickup, even if you don't know your mid matchup. It's probably gonna do okay. The DK only really loses out to a certain set of heroes that, you know, for the most part, DK is just gonna do fine, or at least trade fine. The Razor is one of the heroes that she doesn't really do too well against, I have to say, so I do like this pickup from LOTAC. It does feel like that mid lane is a bit of a wash now. Ben-Hur's not having a good time there. Maybe once he gets a few more levels in his passive, and you know, maybe by level 4, level 5, you can pull that quite well. I just feel like him losing that much damage is going to hurt his last hits. It's going to hurt the nice quite a fair bit. So I do like this pickup from LOTAC. Again, that Razor against DK, it's going to be a hard time for Ben-Hur.
It's position 1 Nature's Prophet when
I guess that kind of makes sense. I mean, you know, the Sven as a core just felt like wasn't going to get too much. It's going to be very prone to being fighted around. And I suppose the growing potential of the Sven is still quite strong anyway. So no real pressure to have that global presence with the Nature's Prophet. I just feel like it might have been a bit stronger, but the lineup they have, Detonator does feel like they are going to take this a bit slow. You're probably not going to have too many kill potentials with these heroes, Mike. I mean, it's Abaddon, a DK, and Nature's Prophet. Doesn't sound like the strongest in the lane, whereas for LOTAC, they have that Roman combo of Oracle Tusk. You have the Terrorblade, you have the Batrider, and the Razor. All of them sound really potent early on. I expect LOTAC to be ones a bit more active in the early game, and Detonator to be the ones a bit more passive, maybe, you know, ending up as a, you know, responding to LOTAC's movement much more than having her own movement set up. At least that's how it goes. I mean, it does feel like Detonator does want to have a stable time, not really an issue. Get farm and EXP they can. Make sure Sam H has a good time. I think that's going to be key here for this Abaddon to have a good enough time that he gets the farm he wants, the items he wants, and be able to have an impact by the game.
Well, certainly going to say it's not very often you get to see a position 1 Nature's Prophet coming out, but look what happens with it. Not sure how much confidence I have, but just wait and see. We won't call anything too quickly.
Who made you captain?
Smoke up again. Like, we'll see Detonator again, drawing out that line, trying to go find somebody the opposed jungle. So this is the 3rd time in a row they've done this. LOTAC won't fall for it at all, I'm sure. They'll just make sure they're in safety.
Well, for the most part, 3rd time's the charm, but this time around it's the status quo, I believe. Mike, like I said, getting anything done again. These runes should be an even 2-2 trade with really not much action breaking out, I don't feel.
How much work do you think positional Nature's Prophet's going to get done, though? Like, that's my main concern here for the side of Detonator.
I wish I could say, Mike. It's, I mean, Nature's Prophet can pump out some good damage, but I'm not sure. Compare it to something like Terrorblade and the LOTAC side, which you are certain can work and farm up. So Nature's Prophet just doesn't feel like that same kind of core. It does look like you're lane swapping. It looks like Green Shooting Potato will be in the mid lane, facing off against Chuan's Razor. So it's a bit of a shake-up here. Ben-Hur will go to that off lane, and I guess this is very, very different from what we expected, Mike.
Yeah, certainly so. but it makes sense. I mean, there's no way you want to put that DK up against Tron's Razor. Detonator will take the certainly the smarter route for the laning stage. But I imagine LOTAC will be more than happy to switch lanes up if they do wish as well. We'll sit at the bot lane with his tri-lane, so we will finally get to see a tri-lane versus tri-lane. Both first and second game were tri-lanes versus the off-lane, so off-laners, so good to see which side gets more done. Because Skip probably not going to have the easiest time either up against Ben-Hur with that Breathe Fire. It does seem like it's going to be quite up to the supports that he has behind him to make sure to secure that Terrorblade farm, although it will be a stuff. Going straight up to Skip, Mention will be there, and now they make a chase onto Ben-Hur with that Metamorphosis. He deals a hell of a lot of damage, and Ben-Hur does end up being the first blood for Scam. Very nice pick up there from the side of LOTAC. Might even go for more. Raven has attacked. The stun does come out from Fly Solo. Will hold him in place, but no follow-up. But you've got to be happy with that if you're on the side of LOTAC.
Just slowing down that EXP gain for Ben-Hur's DK means that it's not going to be so tanky early on. It's going to be a while until he really spikes up in this lane, and Scam can just basically take over and farm as much as he wants with that one early death from Ben-Hur.
Ben-Hur may be in trouble again because Raven walked his way in with the tap team and the shots. Very, very nice. They'll put him in place as well. They don't need the Metamorphosis for this one, it seems. Although Ben-Hur's still tanky, but not tanky enough for Scam. And with that, that'll be second around that 2-minute mark of the game. Not the greatest of news again for the side of Detonator, but LOTAC fans are going to be very happy to see that.
Definitely so, Mike. I feel like, I guess this is something you have to expect when you toss that DK off the mid lane. He really excels in 1v1. When you can kind of gang up on him, his tankiness is not that apparent.
Mid lane. Excuse me. Ara will end up falling down a bot lane. It looks like Ray sets up another kill. Meanwhile, mid lane, Raging Potato with a haste rune, actually going to go after Tron and almost finds him. Fairy Fire will be there, however, Raging Potato would not stop chasing and will find the solo pickup. It looks like Tron just getting a bit overly confident to try and stick around up against that haste Nature's Prof. Ends up losing his life.
Yeah, good play from Raging. It's really not what you expect when you're laning against a Razor, but nice clean kill for Raging. Secures him this mid lane fairly okay. He is still lagging behind in the last hits, but you know, against the Razor, you do kind of have to expect that as a Nature's Prophet.
I mean, I don't want to say it was like a wash for the side of LOTAC, like but it does really seem to be going their way. Even the supports Detonator just aren't really able to get in range to do any kind of harassment out. Let's LOTAC to get a full going. Neutral camp. Meanwhile, top laner higher creeps for himself. Does miss a few creeps, but he will go back for them. Fortunately, one melee creep being very stubborn about it. We'll just continue running forward. Ball lane shots again connecting on the bench, but with the tag team, and they hold him in place. Absolutely, and Scam, I think he deals out enough damage this time around, and he doesn't. Just for Detonator, they're hitting the point now where they're just getting a little bit harder to kill. LOTAC can't really afford to, you know, dive too far quite yet. Meanwhile, there is smoke coming. Fly Slow and RR gonna make their way through to that mid lane where Twan is sitting. Twan should just be dead here. The sun comes out. Now the Sprout, just for the triggers, he will start sapping away at Raging Potato's damage, but it won't be enough. He will still manage to find that last right pick. Raging Potato ending the second kill of the game though. At bot lane, they end up losing Ben-Hur again. You leave that DK for 1 second and suddenly he's off. Raven just built wall. Managed to run out eventually, just like he almost lagged out for a second.
Classic expectation internet Mike. Something you should expect does happen, and when you press the once again. But, you know, fairly good start again. LOTAC wins are all going well. They're really paying off. Detonator has had a couple good kills on Raging Potato, but that's pretty much it. LOTAC has been keeping the lid on to that DK of Ben-Hur. He's not had a great time. Every time they leave this guy alone, he's just gonna be ganged up on by this truck lane, and really not too tanky at this point.
Oh, bot lane, they go again. That's snowball launch coming out, force him. Continue to chase the Ben-Hur, short to find him, and meanwhile, it looks like Red Dead doesn't end up finding Yamate in the backline. Salving up back to full HP, and with Detonator will only find us a kill for the moment. Scam actually going to go solo now because Haven has joined in. This could be dangerous for the side of the Raven, but apparently not that dangerous because they continue this chase. Flying solo will get the job done. Raven pulling trailer himself, and that's this time coming out from the Oracle. I'm just going to continue man fighting by himself. He's level 4 at the moment, so he can't under his way out. But will be enough. So they walk away. Up the people on the bed.
Yeah, pretty clean from LOTAC. The fact that they managed to save off Scam, of course, is probably the big plus. And Scam is pretty happy. Like, he gets punished. 0-3, way before, and I feel it's just gonna get better from here. It's gonna pick up for Abandon bit. He went for the Urn of Shadows first, so no, he's just picking up for. He does have his great hand up as well, so he's gonna get. It's gonna hurt the lane just a tad more. And Raven will really turn. Of course, it's gonna be really disruptive now when he gets a couple of charges in.
We are gonna start moving forward. Detonator do back off. We haven't really talked about top lane at all. Ohio and Sam H have pretty much been just trading farm. It does look like Sam H has come out really on top in terms of net worth, but Ohio is picking up, and in fact he's going to go for an 80% on Sam H now. He is basically all alone. Borrowed time to pick him up all the way to HP, but all this damage has been sapped by Tron, and he would end up losing his life, so nice little rotation coming up from the Razor.
Definitely so, and you know, just easy rotation like that slows down the sure, you know, Sam, you get a good time on his Midas, but there's not much that you can do with Razors to get that mix up and somebody to try to fight, but what kind of damage can you do?
He gets RR again from the Scam bench. That's a very nice pick you can find, and Potato also joins in. Sprout and Trent will come out. Scam should surely be dead here. He is running away by himself, and he will go down. So Ben finally gets a bit of revenge for himself, and we know so far so good in terms of this Nature's Prophet job. I mean, he's 3-0, 1 assist, and has been setting up some nice kills across the map as well.
Definitely has. He's been as active as he wants in NPB, still finding a good amount of form as a core. Raging Potato has been getting a lot of work done, and he's really pressured Razor, and if that Razor has the need to rotate out to that lane, leave Raging Potato really just kill off Oracle.
Yeah, Yamate trying to come in for some farm, although the ulti will it actually connect? You don't have vision because of the high ground. Yamate looks like he'll be able to push his way up. Will be able to shrine himself up as well. While top lane, they are again on Sam A. Raging Potato to jump in and help out. Couldn't really find a pick off there at the top lane, but they do to it very little save the Abbot. Now mid lane. Hitting once again by Raven with those shards. He has been quite on point in game number 3 with those shards and hitting up a lot of kills for his team. Now Herb was sleeping out, almost actually ends up going down to the Firefly of Ohio to get out. He is lose back at that bot lane.
Yeah, that's a lot of gold going away with LOTAC, of course. Second 5 minutes coming up, and R is in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, he's in big trouble. Raven again finding another kill for his team. Ohio will pick it up this time around. It's Tusk is really starting to pay off for the side of LOTAC. The top lane. Thought they may go for a push, but Ohio is scary enough to keep them at bay. There was help coming in from Yamate on that Oracle just in case they wanted to go for a dive. So a 9-4 now, slight lead for the side of LOTAC by K. So far, so good for the Red Flag.
Definitely so. They're getting big. Scam has been farming fairly alright, all things considered. He is third place in that bird and fourth place in the bird, but all things considered, considering how active this lane has been, it's pretty alright. He should be able to catch up to his spawn as long as LOTAC keeps that pressure up and keeps the enemy heroes away from him. Of course, you can do that quite well with the heroes you have on LOTAC side. You have that Razor, you have that Batrider. They are really good early on, and I feel like if there are any heroes by time for a Terror, these guys will do it just fine.
Again, and her bot is going to be in front. They will support coming in, but no, just Ohio, who already has to travel up on that Batrider. Ben-Hur just terrible timing. Sam just kind of in trouble. He does use that proper time, but with one the sapping all of that damage from him, he's probably going to go down fairly quickly. He does get rooted in place, and he does go down. LOTAC all over the side of Detonator. They will go for a 2-1 bot tower now.
Yeah, I don't see any confidence coming from Detonator losing this. First, we'll try trade at tier 1 top as well. They did extend board space. Looks like they will just trade the tier 1 per tier 1.
They'll get away with it. In fact, all those trades they have, they may go for a secondary. But LOTAC are very quick to respond. I mean, while Raven's around, you do not want to be there because this man has been hitting perfectly this game. So it's done a bit too long. Raven will not go for the attempt of the safety. So it's just very even trade T1 towers. In terms of farm, still looking really bad for them. Like, you look at Ben-Hur right now, he's still sitting at about 3k net worth. And that is just so abysmal for what he usually gets going on the DKs, but it just goes to show how well LOTAC have done in that safe lane.
Yeah, he's been contested a lot. He died a lot early on. He missed out on a few waves. It's been really hard for Ben-Hur to kind of play catch up, although I guess pushing his status will help.
Not quite, John. Apparently it's going to cost him his life. Ohio took his way in. There is some help there, though. Ohio is moving forward. Found another down 2 at the very least. Flying Solo being the secondary, and Ohio wants even more. Can he find it? We'll go for the TB, and we'll be fine in doing so. MH will just run his way out, but that's going to be a T1 tower gone again for the side of Detonator. It was a nice little attempt coming up from Ben-Hur, but when you've got no farm and no levels going on this DK, he's really not that tanky.
Yeah, really unfortunate for him. Couldn't even clear out that tier 1 mid yet. And I believe that rotation came in right as his dragon form was fading, so really unfortunate for him the timing of that. No follow-up really to be had from Detonator's side, and I think all you can really hope for if you're Detonator right now is to get enough farm on Raging. He has been farming quite well, ahead of the net worth, but so far at 7.4k compared to Ohio coming up next at 5.9k. Good enough lead for this core NP. Whether or not we'll have pick, impact is to be seen though. He will pick up an Orchid soon enough, and I think that's when he's going to have to be active in the map with the item.
Oh wait, that up for the moment though. While he's doing that, LOTAC, they will way up to that top lane, take that final tier 1 tower, but they may have to come back and defend the tier 2 bot tower because Rachel has backed off. He has got a few trees there. In fact, Ben-Hur joins in as well as on that Shadow Shaman, who does currently have Serpent up and ready to go. Smoke will come out from the side of LOTAC, but I don't think they're going to make it in time. In fact, the Serpent Wards were dropped, just burst down while being chased. One Flying Solo will turn around by himself. It looks like he's just going to bait them to follow him while the rest of his team backs off. Only thing is that they did leave both the bounty runes at the bot lane as well, so they're going to lose quite a lot here. Base Potato will not be able to get that last bounty rune. Will be forced to TP out before he gets bursted down by Scam.
Yeah, and fairly clean kills for LOTAC, and it's getting harder and harder for Detonator to really get a grip on this map. They do pick up a Midas on Ben-Hur. A 15 Midas, not a very good timing, I have to say. It can still get some work done if they both have long enough.
Well, Sam H now's going to be in trouble. Making shots on point by Raven, and there's the damage being sapped away. The stun comes down, and Sam H turns around. Not sure if it's that one. He will use the borrowed time. Meanwhile, One Solo on top of the pit, he will end up falling. Ben-Hur trying to fight the best he can, but he's really dealing no damage right now, and Schwan is dealing a hell of a lot. Raging Potato can't afford to die, but it looks like he probably will, and he does. And again, the chance come in from Raven, sets it up with a third, and that'll be a two top tower being taken by LOTAC now.
No contest coming up for Detonator, not Tree Hero's dead for sure. And back to the farm game, and they are slowly losing control on the map. Again, that top area completely naked now, no tier 2 left. Very risky to go out and farm there. Really good vision coming out from the back, watching the pivotal entry points in that area of the map. So even if you were farming as Detonator, you really have to invest in wards, which it feels like it has been lacking from Detonator in the movements, just not enough wards. They have one aggressive ward on that bottom jungle, but they haven't really been playing in that area down mid often, so I'm not sure if there's too much value in that ward anymore.
That's certainly so high. Not mind Raging Potato, but he does have help in the back lines, and like Ohio will back off the safety. Of course, that Orchid is up on Raging Potato, but it doesn't really seem like it's going to be enough right now. Again, it's got that full mantle on the turret lane. And although Skem has the best start himself, he's caught up quite fast. Second in net worth, only to Raging Potato on his profit. Skem down to the bot lane. Potato will spot him out. Infection will be there, and it's like Raging Potato doesn't flinch. Anything moving this, although Ohio will come in. Now the turn ward's being popped as well onto Skim and the silence. He will map the dodge and Thunder, and Raging Potato tries to TP up but does end up going down, and they find absolutely nobody on the side of LOTAC.
Yeah, and just like that, two heroes are down for Detonator. They drop the wards. That's not going to be there for the next push. And again, it's not a good sign for Detonator. When you lose your core like that, it's a bit rough. They got baited a bit too hard there. And, you know, Raging Potato just picked up that Orchid. Doesn't feel like it's had impact, especially with the Manta timing coming out from Scam. Just really good. You can't even target the Terrorblade with your early Orchid anymore. You're going to have to go for someone else, maybe the Razor, maybe Oracle. I think the Oracle might actually have to be your target to stop him from purging off that silence. So, you know, you're gonna have to play it really hard. I think you really have to kill off that Oracle in the back line first, and then see what you can do afterwards.
For that bot C2 tower now being attacked by Skem. Ohio staying on that high ground for the moment. At mid lane, there may be a bit of engagement as Raven has found Sam H. Not engaged too far. I don't find somebody to try and pick off, but LOTAC now. Raging Potato, he does get stunned up just before the TP finishes, and it looks like he will end up going down again. Not the greatest here at lose. I mean, he's the top of your net worth on the side of Detonator, and LOTAC again finding a very valuable kill.
Yeah, and I don't think Raging's gonna stay on top of that for much longer now. Like, he is pretty much caught, overtaken by Razor, and it's really not a good sign here for Detonator. They're 7k behind, a significant amount of kills behind, way behind map control as well. It's just getting harder and harder to find space to sustain these heroes you have, and they are far too behind to have that much of an impact anymore.
Lane, Raven looking stuck. MH applies solo. Do back off the safety. Just losing that bot T2 tower, however. Skem just there doing it by himself. That does only leave one outer tower in that mid lane left. They do manage to get that courier thanks to Raging Potato, but now he may end up losing his own life again. They have the lasso available and they've walked mid just in case. Meanwhile, Flying Solo is being chased as well by Ohio, and again, him finding a double kill this time around. I'm not really sure if going for that courier was worth losing the Nature's Prof.
Probably not. You slow down that, I believe that was the mech coming out, but again, you're slowing down your own farm, you're slowing down your impact, you're really behind the Terrorblade now by a fair bit of gold. It's just going to get worse as NP doesn't farm too well. You can jump around from that, but when you've lost so much map control, it's really not safe to do that, so farming is definitely impacted. And it's like, how do you go from here to Detonator? You're going to have to get some pretty good pickoffs. You're going to want Ben-Hur to initiate with his Blink, which is coming out soon. In fact, no, he's switching out to a BKB, which is fine as well, but I'm not sure if the damage is there even if you have that BKB.
Oh, Rage. Caught out again. So, we'll end up connecting. He goes to the Sprout. I don't think he's out of this one. It's some cooldown anyway. When he got a tower, but it just seems like every time this man shows up on the map now, LOTAC have a target on his back. They get in the bullseye every time. With that, they'll shrine up, they'll smoke up, and they'll try to continue this aggression. Fly Solo, gonna break the smoke. Shards will not connect. Light will get rooted in place. Can they catch it? It looks like they can. The smoke ball will connect, and Yamate apparently takes the kill this time around. And with that, they're gonna go for that last outer tower that Detonator has left, and that is the T2 mid.
Yeah, and I don't see a defense coming out again. The 10k network lead for LOTAC at this point in the game, 25-4 at 23 minutes in. It's rough. It was a pretty good start for Detonator. I mean, not amazing, but they had a few kills on Raging Potato. They did have a rough time with Ben-Hur, but you know, it's a DK and a trial that be left for a while. It's kind of to be expected. At this point now, it's just so much harder to farm. Again, you have no safe points to go outside in the map. Your wards your vision is pretty aggressive down in that top lane for some reason, and you don't really have too much vision inside your jungle. So it's going to be hard to even just farm there compared to LOTAC's vision. It's just really hard to find a space for these ones to come online. I feel like the timing might already be a bit off, but we've seen some pretty good comebacks before. They just need a bit more. They need a lot more in Raging Potato. They need a lot more in Ben-Hur to really be scary. And they also need a lot more in damage.
Well, they're trying to get it up. The only man that really is able to leave the base safely is Raging Potato with that teleportation. The other people on the team don't really actually, they really have a way out of the base, to be honest. Like, it seems like all exits have been blocked off. Get a bit be up onto Ben-Hur at the very least, so just get more in these engagements, but that's pretty much no damage to speak of. The ones they're just sapping it away from him. You want a lot of Detonator right now. Like, how do you come in this game with the draft you have?
It all really rides on getting the farm in your work right now. You want Samh to have some good farm. You're going to want to have some good farm Ben-Hur as well, and Raging Potato has to buy some pressure on just so now they're pressure.
Yeah, they do a nice X off on that Terrorblade, but Scam does not care whatsoever. They've already lost one in that Shadow Shaman, and now Ben-Hur has to be a bit tanky, but apparently it's not the case. They just burst him down with no buyback available. They'll lose Fly Solo as well. They still hold the Aegis on Scam. He might just be able to get 3 references out of this, in all honesty. In fact, they're going for the T4s, aren't they? No, they're diving the fountain, apparently. Samh making a run for it, can't even make it back to that fountain. He does get taken down, and that's a triple for Chuan. Absolute domination coming out from LOTAC, game number 3. Scam, he will just go straight into that lane and get started on that tier 3 tower. Unfortunately for them, however, Raging Potato has skimmed creeps, and so the backdoor protection does actually protect them being measured. So a nice play from him. That will delay the game out just a bit longer at the very least. Detonator to try and get themselves back into this.
Yeah, they need everything they can get. At very least, they only lose one new rat from that turret exchange, which is
right. Caught out John Snowball there as well, and they've dropped the wards. They're going to try and counterplay this. may lose his life, although back one, they do get a nice stun on. Then flying solo, with Ben Herbert, the charge block is pretty decent. Sam H continuing the chase, the stance does kick in, but he's being pulled up throughout all this. Now the shackles are there as well. Scam actually fuels up the teammate with the Thunder, and they will turn this one around from 2 gone already for the side of Detonator. Sam H, the only man really left standing in this engagement. In fact, never mind, they found another one in Ben Hur. It's going to be 4 heroes down for the side of Detonator. It looked good for them, but Scam walked in, thundered the task, and suddenly it was like, let's just turn this around.
Yeah, I mean, that's all they really needed. Had that beautiful thunder onto Raven, just saving his long and disruptive. It was just all there for LOTAC, just drawing that fight out. And now I feel like Detonator is not going to be able to hold on to their mid set of racks, even their top set of racks, if LOTAC is to push this issue.
They will do so. I mean, even if you've got buybacks on the side of Detonator right now, it really doesn't seem to matter that much. Scam back off. Doesn't have under 15 seconds. Nice snowball got to the stun. However, you are going under T4 towers now. Even they will just turn around. Twice. Solo, who doesn't end up losing his life, he didn't have to borrow top. Yeah, got another in RR again. Ben Hur, he's going to be the third target. He's gone. Well, chance on a godlike streak right now. And the PG core finally comes out from Detonator. There's just no way to come back with a stuff like that if they did get a good start. God knows Ben Hur tried, but man, they made it tough. And LOTAC certainly deserves going to this Grand Empire.
Definitely so, Mike. They fixed the issues they had from game 1. They played their own games in the next 2 games, and I think this last game was very, very convincing coming out from LOTAC. So, good game from them. Looking forward to how they perform against Boom ID, who are, you know, let's face it, they're the favored ones. They've been to a bunch of minors before. They tend to close out these qualifiers. If, you know, if the big 3 aren't in that qualifier, tends to be Boom ID's favorites. I'm looking forward to how LOTAC faces up against the Indonesian favorites in the next round, Mike. And unfortunately for Detonator, that's as far as they get in this qualifier. Hopefully next time we'll see more of them, though.